to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. The man to my right is Evo, and we are fucking back in Hangar 6, right in the wheelhouse, because the NFL is here, baby. I am super excited. We look good as fuck right now, and I'm so pumped for today. I cannot wait to start breaking some shit down. We get to talk about some games. We're going to get into some bets again. We got, award winners. We got some hot takes, some bold predictions. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Mike. I don't know if I should be using my announcer voice or what, but I mean, we had to show a little respect to the NFL.
Absolutely.
It is week 1. Have to look pretty here. I'm also getting prepared. I have unfortunately a funeral to go to on Monday, so I just want to make sure that this looked good. Aaron Rodgers is going to die this weekend, so I just wanted to be ready for it. But yeah, how are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing really, really good, man. I'm very excited. Have not had too much to do today. Kind of got to do some studying, some perusing. And yeah, it's good. We had a little football thing this morning. Graydon's got his game tomorrow. I'm going to miss some of the Browns game. I'm going to be watching that probably afterward. That's why one of the reasons I got the NFL Plus bullshit. But yeah, I'm very excited for today. Now I do feel a little weird. This is not me. I'm not a dress up guy. So, we're going to fix that.
Oh shit. Taking
Fuck
her
this
down.
shirt.
Very
Let's go,
nice.
baby. We're going sleeveless as always.
I'll take a shot to that.
Hell yes. Producer Amber is about to be furious when she finds out I am tearing the shit out of this shirt, by the way.
Well, you know what? You don't need it for a little while. And you got to stay
It's very
comfortable.
true. It is very true. I do need to stay comfortable. It is wildly important. Ooh, that didn't tear good.
Hey, honestly, any sort of a tear, it fits a little bit better than you with sleeves on. So
Yeah. The sleeves
Just-
they don't work.
busting out of that shirt.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
I'll
Here.
take a shot to that.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, no, I'm tearing the whole fucking shirt now, baby.
All right. We might see some titties, ladies and gentlemen. Just understand.
I got
it
an
is a man
undershirt on,
nipple.
everybody. Don't you worry.
Okay. Well,
Undershirt is on. You know what else is coming back on, though, in just a second? As soon as I tear the last bit of this fucking shirt off. Jesus.
don't wear the shirt, Mike. Don't let it wear you.
Yeah, I know. I have sufficiently destroyed this, by the way.
Nice. Well,
I will never be able to wear this again. So one of the things got to happen.
Absolutely.
The hat goes on. The chain comes out. And I'm fucking ready to roll. The NFL's back, baby. Let's go.
I'll take a shot to that.
Hell yeah. It's going to get Liddy City in here today, boys. Oh, man, I'm so fucking pumped. There are a couple of things that we got to talk about very quickly before we start diving into some NFL. Youth football, we got game tomorrow. I'm very excited. We are still looking for more people. This is just atrocious. To send us some clips if you guys got some youth players that you want to spotlight. I'm just going to haphazardly tear at this thing. And you'd like us to spotlight them. We would love to have them on the show or highlight their clips. I don't think we want to get too far into, interviewing kids. We don't want to run into any situations where people think we are trying to profit off of young athletes. That is absolutely not our goal. Our goal is to highlight some young student athletes and kind of put them out there and let them be seen. I remember being a kid wanting to always be seen on like ESPN. It never happened for me, but if we can give, some kids, high school athletes, younger athletes as well, the opportunity to see themselves on YouTube, on a podcast, I would love to do that. So if you guys got any kids out there that you want to see highlighted, send them our way. Send us some clips. Send us some information. We'll get them posted. Shout out to the Cleveland State women's volleyball team. Season started last night. They got a dub. Congratulations, ladies. I'm very excited. Cleveland State's been great so far, but I got nothing else. U Sports, you got anything?
No, not really, man. Just went out last night, did a little bit of drinking, stayed out a little late. Took the lady took herself to work this morning and got some coffee for her and took another nap. So I'm just trying to get back into being prepared for the rest of the fun today. So, I'm excited as hell. We got so much to go over today, particularly with professional NFL, but we've got all sorts of shit to go over. And you know what? I mean, I'm willing to take a shot to that.
There we go. I told you guys, today's going to get wild. I'm fucking tearing shirts off. Evo's fucking 4 shots deep in already. It's going to be a fucking...
We got a handle of Tito's. Not a sponsor currently. We're ready. Could be a sponsor, but not currently.
So no U Sports. Very quickly, UFC 279. It is a goddamn fiasco right now. They have switched all the fucking fighters around, and I hope Chimaev gets his ass kicked because he very purposely missed weight. Anything on UFC 279?
No, man. I've seen this stuff going on, and missing weight by 7.5 pounds, like you said, pretty obvious. So it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, God, this is so uncomfortable now. Worth it though. Worth it for the effect at a minimum.
Gotta let the pythons breathe.
That's right, baby. You don't get fucking arms like this and not show them the fuck off, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so UFC is going to be wild. Nate Diaz is now fighting Tony Ferguson. Chimaev is fighting Derek Holland. Li Ji, I don't know how to say his fucking name, nor do I really care at the moment. Football is fighting Daniel Rodriguez. So if you guys want to watch some shit later, go ahead and do that. It's going to be an interesting card. All those guys hate each other. College football is going on right now. Alabama is not beating the shit out of Texas. I did not expect that.
We are just starting the third. 10 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third, and it's 10-10. Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers is playing pretty goddamn good. Apparently, I have not watched it. I would have been, getting ready,
He is currently 9 of 12 for 134 yards, and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, if I do start to have any sort of slurring of words. We're doing a fun podcast today.
Yes, we are. Hey, I'll drink to that.
I don't have anything ready right now. I had 4 shots set up, and I've got to take time to reload.
There you go. College football, all that shit's going on. Ohio State playing Arkansas State. Not going to talk about that because they're going to beat the fuck out of them. They kind of already are. Not really any other big games going on, at least not yet. I'm not sure there's much going on this weekend. It's a kind of a stinker. You got Florida, Kentucky, I guess. Baylor, BYU. But yeah, nothing super important.
I mean, my Minnesota Gophers are playing Western Illinois,
Yeah.
Class of college football. It's 31-3, baby.
Real fucking barn burner there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I'm done with college football. Let's talk Major League Baseball real quick. Big, massive series between the Guardians and the Twins right now. Guardians take game 1 last night, even though they tried to fucking blow it by giving up 6 unanswered runs late. They did not, thank God. But your boys are in fucking deep shit right now because you guys have fallen down to 3rd place in the Central. 2.5 games back. The White Sox are coming out of fucking nowhere. They are back in there. Game and a half back in 2nd place. We need them to fall the fuck off. Don't get me wrong. I want to take all 3 of these from you guys. But the White Sox have got to start sucking again. We cannot get Tony La Russa back in that fucking clubhouse fast enough to make them start stinking.
Yeah, we're 2.5 games back right now. It's kind of what we've seen from the Twins all year is, we'll have these little splurts of being good, and then they kind of shit the bed a little bit. So we're 3 wins in our last 10 games. That's not going to do it. And I feel like this is kind of going to be how the rest of the year goes for the Central. Is it's going to be us 3, Guardians, Twins, and White Sox, and it's going to be within that 2.5 game, 3.5 game margin for all those teams. So it's just, I get that feeling that it's going to come down to the wire to see who really gets it and who can stay hot basically like that last week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild race. Go Guards. But yeah, massive series right now going on between us. We'll see what kind of shakes out there. Other big ass news inside of Major League Baseball. They have approved a bunch of rule changes for next year. They're getting rid of the shift. I like it and I don't like it. I feel like if you limited the shift, it'd be better than getting rid of it in its entirety. I believe it has its value. There's a reason people started doing it. And it's not like it's a new revelation. This happened a long time ago as well. It was used much more sparingly, though. I'd like to see maybe a limit on shifts and not a complete ban, because now you have to have 2 infielders on each side of second base. Everybody's fucking feet has to be in the infield. There's no more rover of the second base in the outfield when you got a lefty coming up. So I don't love that. Bases are getting bigger. I don't think it'll make a fucking difference as long as the bases stay at least 90 feet away from each other. But I also think that that's going to extend out the infield a little bit. The second base is going to have to get a little deeper than it used to be if you're adding a couple extra inches to the base. Typically, when you add a couple extra inches, you're going to need some more room.
Yeah. And we talked a lot about these potential rule changes, earlier on in the year. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of rule changes like this where you're actually like altering some of the stuff in the field, but I guess it's neither here nor there. It is going to happen. Thank you, Rob Manfred. Maybe these changes will lead to his eventual demise. And to the thought of that, I'll shoot to that.
Was that 5 shots in 12 minutes and 40 seconds?
Yeah, you might end up having to carry this at some point. I don't know how it's going to affect my picks later on, but
okay.
I've got notes.
There you go. Notes are good. I'm typically a straight off the dome kind of guy, depending on how many of these beers I pound and how quickly. I might need to start, pulling up some notes as well and just kind of make those haphazardly as we go along. But I'm kind of, that's my thing. I wait till the last minute, good under pressure, and just fucking wing it.
Gump. Good under major pressure.
Yeah. All right. Nothing else Major League Baseball wise for me. You got anything else?
No, nothing really as far as baseball. Did you want to talk at all about the Queen, Mike?
No, not particularly. So, but I will address it real quick. Queen died. I have never really given 2 fucks about the royal family. They don't affect my life whatsoever. I'm not going to bash the Queen or the royal family. I don't give a fuck. They're not Americans. I
was just confused by the whole situation because here the Queen died and everything, and I was worried about it. And then I went out and had drinks with my woman last night. She was perfectly alive and well. So no problem on our end. I did find the memes funny on the day, where we have our first game of the year.
There were some pretty fucking gnarly memes. Some
Thursday night football, and it's like, man, it's just Queen dies, and then everyone in America is kind of like, and then football. It's 1776 all over again.
Yes.
It's the revolution all over again.
It was very interesting the way they cut that. The way they cut from, the Queen has died. We'll watch for coverage tomorrow morning. And here comes football. Yep. All right. Yep. I'm okay with this. I don't think a lot of people are going to be okay with it, but you know what? Fuck them. This is America. Football is king.
And you get to hear Chris Collinsworth saying, and here's a guy.
Oh, dude. The first time he said it, I about lost my mind. I was like, he brought it over from the other one.
And they just have the
slide, baby.
I'm Chris Collinsworth, and here's a guy.
Now here's a guy. Dude, I love the slide. The fucking smooth as shit. I don't care. Like, Collinsworth is not the greatest announcer, but the slide is iconic.
We got $20 is $20 here talking about shots. You have some catching up to do, Dave, if you want to.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely need to catch up. I would imagine we'll get a lot of people trying to catch up.
And we know that $20 is $20. You can see him on Twitch. He streams all the time doing Call of Duty and stuff like that. But we also know that he loves watching us to get his little gambling takes on. If you want to jump on the sports book and get some sports betting in, especially during football season, which to me is the most fun because it's what I'm most invested in as far as sports gambling. This is the place to get it. And Dave, we got those picks coming. And I promised I did take some notes on my thoughts. And I've got some things to back up some of those thoughts. So if I get too off the line here with any of the shots or anything like that, I should be able to rely on those notes. I'm just excited for football. Do we have anything else to talk about sports?
I don't fucking think so. Are we? I'm ready to start talking about motherfucking football, dude. I'm all day. I've been like, that 2 o'clock can't get here fast enough. Let's do this fucking podcast so I can start degenerately gambling through you, and then
allegedly.
Just Hey, as long as you don't take a vig, you're legal. We're good.
All right, I'll shoot to that. Oh no. Not on the mic. We're good. Just on my crotch. Where I like it.
It's always good when it's wet down there. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so we go on storylines. Are we going to go right into some games?
Let's do some quick storylines and then go into the Thursday game.
All right, sounds good. All right, so big news out of the Raiders today. Darren Waller gets a nice little 3-year extension. This is fucking. Oh yeah, you're gonna get it, okay?
I take offense to this comment, producer Amber.
Why is Emo getting wasted?
I take offense to this. I'm not getting wasted. Do I seem wasted?
Not getting wasted yet.
I look like a gentleman.
You do. So one of us has to, because the way I ripped the sleeves off of this thing, this shirt is so utterly fucking destroyed.
We are having drinks like classy gentlemen to celebrate the coming of the new football season.
That's right. That is right. But Darren Waller gets a big contract extension, 3-year, $51 million. That's good fucking money, man. Darren Waller, one of the best tight ends in the league. I think he deserves it. It's a lot though. I think does this make him the highest paid tight end per year in NFL? I think
it might. It's got to be pretty close.
Yeah. So he's now under contract 5 years, 66.25. Let me see here. No, it does not make him the highest paid. I think the new money is highest per year, but overall total of the contract per year, it was not the highest. And this is going to be fun. It was a cheap one in the fact that I don't really wear it anymore. This is actually the shirt that I wore for my interview when I was coming out to Ohio. I looked very nice, very dapper, and I have completely destroyed it. It was fairly cheap, but I looked good in it. I think I look pretty goddamn good right now, though. These fucking arms free, all this room for activities.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but good for Darren Waller. Pretty, widely known that suffered with some substance abuse things, came back from all that shit, has been a really, really good tight end. I think he's going to be a massive part of that offense this year. Taking away Darren Waller was kind of the MO for teams the last couple of years. Hunter Renfro started to kind of make a name for himself because Waller was getting a lot of the attention. But you add in Devontae Adams, Darren Waller is going to get tons of looks in the middle of the field. He is tall. He is fast. He is going to have a fucking fantastic year because Devontae is going to open up massive areas for him to work in the middle.
Yeah, as long as Waller can stay healthy, I mean, that is, I don't want to say a linchpin to this team because we saw they can still be somewhat effective, even with just basically Renfro out there as their main receiving target. But like you said, Waller, explosive, incredible receiving tight end. You got Renfro, who is extremely solid, and then you bring in Devontae Adams, who talked about this a little bit earlier. He's 1,500-yard receiver as the only guy in Green Bay pretty much last year. And he's coming in with his old college buddy at quarterback. They've got that good connection already. There's a lot to like there. I mean, even the fact that he's going to be playing in a dome for half of his games, that's going to help Devontae's numbers out. or
yeah,
should.
for sure.
So
it absolutely should.
That Raiders offense should absolutely be one of those powerhouses out there. I mean, they just have a lot to contend with in the AFC.
Yeah, the AFC is absolutely stacked. One thing that may change, maybe not this year, next year, the AFC may thin out a little bit in terms of the quarterbacks because Lamar Jackson does not get a contract done by the deadline that he had set. It had to be done by Friday. Otherwise, they were going into the season. He's going to play on the last year of his deal, and they'll figure it out later on. I expect a franchise tag for sure coming down the line because Lamar said he's not negotiating in season. I don't see him going back on that. There's no reason that he should. He is the player. He has to focus on games. He is his own agent. He is negotiating, so he's not going to take away from winning, making himself more money on the field to go and deal with this kind of bullshit. So I don't think this is a good thing for the Ravens. It has a potential to be really bad for Lamar as well. What are your thoughts on this not getting done? Because we kind of thought maybe it would, but at a minimum, we're going to see him there next year on a franchise tag at least, right? Because the franchise tag is going to be less money per year than his new deal is going to be for sure, right?
The franchise tag, yes, should be less. But I mean, this is something we've kind of alluded to last episode and other previous episodes is that I mean, I personally do like the backup quarterbacks there for the Ravens. I'm not completely sold on Lamar other than being like a fantasy football type quarterback where he puts up massive fantasy numbers. But the type of quarterback that he plays opens himself up to so much more opportunity for injury and stuff like that, which is the scary part for Lamar. And he's really betting on himself here. I mean, I could see the Ravens moving on from him, becoming a little bit more balanced and using one of those backups who, again, I like, but that'll never happen. We know that'll never happen because Lamar is the Ravens football team right now.
Yes, he is.
It's not just their defense anymore. So they're going to do whatever they have to do in order to keep him there in Baltimore. If they don't get a deal done next offseason, yes, the franchise tag is absolutely in play. There could be some sort of a blockbuster deal that is made in order to ship him somewhere. And I think it would be the craziest trade that we've seen in the NFL, bigger than the Deshaun Watson.
It would be bigger
like
than Deshaun's.
But the scary thing is for Lamar and whether or not he gets himself hurt this year. It's very possible that he could sustain a bad injury. And if that's the case, I mean, he's really in trouble.
Yeah,
but,
this has shades of Dak. Like, it worries me like Dak's thing did.
Absolutely.
Now, Lamar has been relatively healthy outside of COVID, and I think it was a hamstring last year. Maybe he missed a game with a hamstring, or it was something with a leg.
Like that.
But
yeah, he very little minimal things here and there, but he is only getting older. He's only taking more hits. You know, we talk about NFL running backs in that 300, rushing mark, 300 rushing attempts per year, and how that ends up degrading their body. I mean, he is slowly encroaching that sort of territory because of how much he runs the ball.
He's like 150, almost 200 carries a year on designed or just scramble runs.
Yeah. So and that's the thing is if he doesn't get a deal done, if he gets franchise tagged, I see no way that he plays. He'll sit. If he's gambling this much on himself right now, I think that he will look at it as such a slap in the face that he'll sit. That's me personally. If he's gambling that much on himself. Now, I will say this for fantasy owners, while he is healthy, while he's playing this year, not that he hasn't tried to ball out before, but he's going to do everything he can to earn himself every single dime.
Oh yeah, I got to bet for that for week 1 because Lamar is coming out there to absolutely ball out. So we're gonna get to that. Other storylines in the NFL before we start getting into some games. We saw the Bills the other night. Jordan Poyer gets a little rework on his deal. They're trying to come up with some maybe a contract extension. He gets a little extra money. He's a fucking stud. We have all these teams that we kind of talk about The best secondary, best safety combinations. And one team that I feel like never gets fucking mentioned in that best safety tandem conversation is the Bills, but they absolutely fucking should be. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are unbelievable on the back end together. And we saw it the other night. So Jordan Poyer gets some more money that he rightfully fucking deserves. There's going to be some Pro Bowlers on that defense this year, and the only one won't be Von Miller because that entire unit is going to shine all fucking year.
Yeah. It's smart of the Bills to get this worked out. The earlier that you can pay a guy, even if it's a little bit more money now, it ends up being a better contract in the long run, typically, especially when a guy's getting into their prime. Because if you let them wait too long, those contracts become ginormous. Like we saw the Mahomes contract a couple of years ago where everyone was like, holy shit, we're paying this guy a lot of fucking money. And right now it looks like a reasonable contract when you see some of the other quarterback contracts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously with a defensive back, it's not the same sort of territory because they're going to be getting paid way less. But if you're able to get this stuff reworked out, it gives you a little bit more space right now in the cap. It's smart to do. And Poyer is definitely one of those stars on that defense.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic on that back end. I really like the way he plays. He was actually in Cleveland for a while. They was not re-signed because that's typically what happens with really good talent in Cleveland is we find them, we bring them in, we don't re-sign them, they go on, and they are incredibly successful other places. I wish we would have kept him here, but I mean, nobody knew he was going to turn into the superstar he is right now. I mean, because he's one of the best safeties in football.
Sure.
But all right, other storylines. You got any other storylines? Those are the ones that I wanted to talk about because some of the other things that I want to talk about is going to have to do with that Thursday night game.
Yeah, and I think that's perfect segue. Just we can get right into that Thursday night game.
All right. So going into Thursday night, I expected a closer matchup than what we got. I put out some bets. I thought the over would hit. The over did not hit because there were 5-6 turnovers in that game. I had Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown that paid. And then what the hell was the other bet that I had? The Bills -3 or 2.5, and that hit easy. I thought it was going to be a 7-point game, turned into a 21-point game. And even when they go in at halftime, 10-10, that game never even felt close, did it?
No, that's, I was talking to our local Bills fan here, Sven Swanson, and he was kind of talking about that first half of they actually turned it on in the second half. And I was like, no, I don't think so, man. Like watching that, even when the score was close through the first half, I was like,
close though.
It didn't feel close at all. It felt like there were a couple little mistakes that the Bills had made. That first interception from Josh Allen was not his fault. The fumble to rookie James Cook. Unfortunate.
Tough look on your first carry.
Yeah. And you
first carry in the NFL.
Didn't see much more from him, which was smart. But it's these things that are going to happen week 1, maybe week 2, as the team really starts to gel because, they're practicing in training camp, but they aren't going up against other competition. Preseason games, that's mostly your backups and stuff. You're not going to see your starters all out there. So you're going to see some of these little issues and errors happen here. But at the end of the day, the Bills just looked so dominant.
They were very clearly the better team the entire game.
Yes, absolutely. And I also did some light betting on this game. I picked the Bills to win outright. I also picked the over. Over didn't hit, but I still made back all my money from that Bills win bet. And I think that's a bet that I'm going to be riding a lot this year because that team looked fucking good. They weren't even 100% on defense.
No, they can get better. So last year, not one Pro Bowler named to that Bills defense. There's going to be 3 or 4 this year probably that I could foresee.
Absolutely. And that's the Pro Bowl voting and stuff like that. Sometimes it takes a year of lag
for people to realize, hey, these guys are really fucking good.
Yeah. Notably for my Minnesota Vikings, Chad Greenway had himself a stellar season, wasn't elected to the Pro Bowl. Next year, he had an average season and he got sent to the Pro Bowl. It takes a little bit of time for the pundits and people to kind of catch up with some of these newer names, and not that the Bills are necessarily newer names.
Yeah, Jordan Poyer's been in the league forever. So is Micah Hyde. They both should have made the Pro Bowl.
It takes them a little bit of time to catch up and get into these Pro Bowls, but it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to be there for sure.
Bond
will be back.
Coming.
Yeah, me too. Actually, you know what? I got two. So this is my last Kolsch. I'm going to keep one unopened for posterity. Make sure I have it posted in the new house on the little mantle when I get all the setup. So I don't know if you guys can see right. Nope. Which way is my arm got to go? Right there. That is a wine bottle that producer Amber polished off. It's got Brownie the Elf on it. So that's going to be in there as well. It's a pretty cool little bottle.
Very
I
nice.
was surprised. I saw it. I was like, well, I don't know if this is going to be dog shit wine. I'm not going to drink it, but I got to get it for her. Wasn't bad, apparently.
Very nice. I was going to say you didn't even.
No, I didn't. I'm not a wine guy, man. Like I will drink wine given the right situation. Like date night, me and producer Amber going out. She wants a glass of wine. I'm trying to not, drink too much because, I got to fuck later. And then maybe we'll split a bottle of wine, have a glass of wine here or there. But I'm definitely not a red wine guy. If I'm going to drink wine, I like my wine chilled. Apparently chilling red wine is a big faux pas. And listen, if it's not fucking cold or hot, I'm not drinking it. I don't drink lukewarm shit. If it's at room temperature, it's dog shit. Like I cannot do it. Can't drink room temperature anything. Drinks are supposed to be fucking hot or they're supposed to be fucking cold. There's no middle ground here.
All right, there's your first hot take of the season, everybody.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for that too, because people are like, what about? No, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit what the item is. It's hot or cold. Fucking pick one and make it that way.
All righty. Well, yeah, so that Bills Ram game, I think it actually says a little bit less about the Bills.
Whoops.
Says a little bit less about says a little bit less about the Bills and more about the Rams this year. That Rams offensive line did not look good.
Terrible,
Stafford,
dude. They're really bad. They're missing Andre Whitworth really fucking bad. They had some new pieces kind of get moved around.
And I like Noteboom. I like Noteboom who replaced him, but he's not Whitworth. And you are going up against a extremely solid pass rush from the Bills, a defensive line where they rotate constantly. And
they got 6 or 7 guys.
Awesome. Yeah,
they got 6 or 7 guys they rotate in there.
So it's it was rough for the Rams to say the least. I mean, one of their biggest pieces that they brought in this year was Allen Robinson. And the guy was out there. If you paid attention, he was out there. He was open a lot. But Stafford wanted to force feed to Kupp, some Skoranek here and there. If they started feeding Robinson a little bit more, it would help, but I don't think it would have changed the tide by any means.
No.
One thing with the Bills is that it looked like they were able to run the ball effectively with Singletary from the get-go.
He looked really good.
Yeah, it brings up questions now about that Rams defense. I mean, Donald wasn't much of a factor.
He turned in his fucking paperwork. He sent a letter to the organization saying, I'm retiring. And then they find a way to pull him back out of it. I think he's going to regret that decision.
Very possible. I mean, there's talks of him retiring. Obviously, like you said, he sent in the paperwork and then they met up with him, didn't turn in the paperwork to the league, met up with him, talked for a couple of days and figured out how to get that big contract negotiation done. You had talks about McVay possibly leaving for monstrous deals to go be a broadcaster. So it's kind of weird. And look, I'd be remiss if I didn't say they just lost some of the best offensive talents and minds on their coaching staff to my Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell and the young Phillips boy. So it's not what caused their offense to not look good, but I mean, they've had some shuffling up there amongst the coaching staff as well. And I mean, the other 2 points I wanted to bring up with this Rams team is
hold on. You're breaking up. Sorry. You're
no.
Yeah, your connection just went to shit. Don't waste the good material on bad internet. Put that on a t-shirt, by the way.
Well, I don't know.
No, maybe. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So Evo, bounce out real quick, and then if you need to come back in, you're like half coming back in. Are you using the weird Internet Explorer thing again?
No.
I don't know what is going on with your internet connection then, but we are losing you. You sound like a fucking robot. Okay, there's the dead air. All right, so we'll get back to that, but yeah, the Rams lost a ton of people around them. They lost, Evo's now coach. There are some pieces that are really hurting, really missing from that Rams team, and it's going to be a big factor. I think losing Whitworth was massive. This is the Lineman Lounge. We love offensive line play, and he was one of the best tackles in the league. They did not look like they had any cohesion up front whatsoever. And the Bills were able to feast on Stafford all fucking night. It did not make one bit of difference. And then as the night progressed, I started to kind of notice that Stafford's arm looked a little weak. He did not have good zip on the ball whatsoever. Balls fluttered a little bit, and he's got to stop with the fucking no-look passes. It cost him an interception. That Rams team is in a lot of trouble. When we actually get to the point where we are doing some of our like our hot takes, our picks for later in the year on what's going to happen, we're gonna dive a little bit more back into Matt Stafford and the shit that he can and maybe can't do anymore. Hey, there we go.
Hey, and it looks like the internet is a little bit better, and I don't know why. I just needed to get my face off there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I was trying to talk about so Rams are missing Whitworth. It really hurt. You could see it all night. Stafford does not look like Stafford. His arm, there's a problem with the elbow. His arm looks a little weak. He did not have good zip on the ball. A couple balls fluttered. So where were you going with the Kevin O'Connell?
Yes.
And
so KOC is gone. Phillips is gone, but the other two things is Cam Akers, expected to be probably their top rusher this year. He looked like he was barely out there, and obviously he got 0 yards.
Where the fuck was he?
It did not hurt Mike's fantasy team. If you couldn't tell, he drafted him this
God
year.
damn it, dude. What the fuck? He had
got a total
3
of
carries.
0 points. 0 points.
0 points, no yards, not a catch. He was only in for like fucking 10 snaps.
Yeah, it was rough one for Cam Akers. And then it was weird to me for McVay to come out and talk about he needs to be like making more of his opportunities and stuff like that. And it was like, you didn't really give him a whole lot of opportunity.
I did see one play, however, where he should have easily had a block in blitz pickup. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to turn the other way.
Absolutely. So Henderson didn't look bad. Henderson didn't look bad, but he didn't look
look good either. Henderson is a very good back in short yardage. He's not explosive. Cam Akers is explosive. And that's what they needed in that game, was some fucking explosive pace. And he never had the opportunity. The 3 times that he ran the ball, he had terrible fucking blocking. It wasn't that he missed holes. He was getting hit on the handoff. Like, I don't understand it. If I see Sean McVay, I might kick him straight in the ball sack, though, because I think I only have 3 fantasy teams this year, which is not a lot. It's not a little. It's a decent amount. And he's on fucking 2 of them. And I'm about to get my fucking dick smacked in 2 leagues because I had a starting running back, one of the running backs I took early because I was all in on wide receiver this year in PPR leagues. It completely fucked me.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, it didn't help that Jalen Ramsey looked like the second coming of Eli Apple.
Oh my God.
Constantly torched by my boy Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis had himself a great night. He's one of my fantasy football receivers. So I'm big on Gabe Davis this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jalen Ramsey just didn't look good. And for the guy to talk shit about Josh Allen,
Best quarterback in the
Allen's
league, by the
career,
way. Best quarterback in the league right now.
Yes.
I'm very willing to say, like, there's not a guy in the NFL that can do the things that Josh Allen can do.
I mean,
his
he bitch
arm
slapped the
and
guy
his
down.
legs combined. What?
Not even his throwing arm necessarily, his bitch slap arm.
Yeah.
He pulled out the stiff arm.
Yeah. Just fucking put him through the earth's crust.
I'll drink to the stiff arm.
There you go.
Look, Josh Allen looked phenomenal. The turnovers will start to go away as we get a little bit further into the season for the Bills. And, we've kind of said this in previous shows, and I know it's going to come up later when we actually do our selections for like Super Bowl and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the Bills are my team right now as who is going to go and win the Super Bowl. They just looked excellent, both sides of the ball, even with some errors that can be easily cleaned up. So, really looking forward to seeing how the Bills do. I am off on the Rams right now.
I'm 100% off. And Stafford really worries me, man. I think that elbow issue is a big fucking deal. They said that he was fine. I don't believe him. I don't believe the organization.
We have Spicy Mike popping in here. Alabama's down by 3 to start the fourth.
Man,
Texas,
can we just? I don't want Texas to be good. I hate Texas, but I don't hate Bama. I hate Saban. I don't know who I want to win this game.
I like parity, and so Alabama winning all the time. I want some parity. I don't really care who does it. If it's Texas, go for the Longhorns, I guess.
I mean, 2 years in a row they lose to a Texas team. I would not have picked Texas to do it. I would have maybe picked A&M to do it again, but definitely not Texas. I thought this was going to be an absolute cakewalk for Bama, but apparently Quinn Ewers is a motherfucking dog, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that entire program once Arch Manning shows up. Is Quinn Ewers going to transfer again? I don't want to hop off of the NFL, but that's a very big question that I have when it comes to what's going to happen with that program, because, man, it's going to be weird if you get a guy that – oh, it's okay. It's going to be very weird when you get a guy that leads you past an Alabama, and then you bring in the hottest commodity in all of college football, in Arch Manning, and you have to sit him. I don't know if that plays.
Yeah, I can't imagine, especially if Quinn is looking as good as he probably is right now, if he's willing to just sit there and become a backup to Arch. And I don't think you bench Arch.
But can you bench Arch? You got to start him as a freshman, right?
Probably.
I would imagine you have to start him as a freshman. I mean, I'm sure there's some ways around that, but I don't know. That's tough. That's real fucking tough. All right.
I guess it's not the worst situation to be in if you're Texas. Like, oh, darn, we've got good quarterback play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first time that's happened since Colt McCoy. Mm-hmm. So.
All right. You ready to get into the rest of the football games?
Yes, I am. There we go. We did talk baseball, kid. So, by the way, Carlton kid, CJ, good dude. And I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice. If you want to watch these beautiful sons of bitches come to you on Saturdays, and when we're going live, what you should do, head over to our YouTube page, okay? Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the little fucking bell. That way you get notifications when we are going live or putting new content out. If you guys have not done that, please do so. I mean, I have no problem sitting here, sending out links to a bunch of people and posting it in Facebook groups, trying to get the content out there. But if you guys want to know when we go live without me just saying, hey, motherfucker, come watch my shit, go to the YouTube page, like, subscribe, and hit the bell, turn on the notifications, and you'll see every time that we go live.
Yep. And you know what? If you ring the bell, I'll drink to that.
Here we go. Eva, how many shots you got in? Is that 8?
I don't know. I've got 4 shot glasses here, and I've reloaded. So, and now they're empty again. So it's at least 8.
That's 8 shots.
All right. NFL.
All right. Yeah. Fuck NFL. By the way, the Bills are so good. They're better than I thought they were.
I mean,
Or the Rams are
I
worse than I
expected
thought
them
they
to
were.
be really damn good. Expecting to be really damn good.
They just dog walked the Super Bowl champs.
Well, yeah. All right, let's get into our morning games here on Sunday. We got games coming up less than 24 hours from now. First game is the Saints and the Falcons being played in Atlanta. Currently, according to, and I'm just getting all these lines over and unders based off of what is on ESPN right now, as we've done in the previous year. So right now the line is New Orleans -5.5 with an over/under of 43. What do you got, Mike?
So this game is going to be kind of interesting. We got some moving pieces. Jameis, I think, is going to actually have a pretty decent year. I'm interested to see what Mariota can do. I don't love Drake London. I do like Pitts. I don't know what this offense is going to look like at all for the Falcons. I have a pretty goddamn good idea what this offense is going to look like for the Saints. Now, obviously, we do not have Sean Payton calling plays anymore. There are going to be some changes. But Jameis can sling the ball. Now that he can fucking see, I think that he will probably play a little bit better. And he's got a dude in Chris Olave. He's got Michael Thomas coming back. I think the Saints are going to threaten at a playoff spot because that defense is fucking fantastic. So I am in on the Saints, and I'm taking Saints on the cover. If we're talking over under, you said 42.5, right?
Over under is 43.
43. I'm going under. You will probably hear a lot of that, and I fucking hate doing unders. Unders is bad football. Unders is slightly boring football, depending on what side of the game you like. I like to see offense. I'm big, high-powered offense kind of guy. Defense is cool. Defense can be fun, but I like to watch the offensive side of the ball. Our boy, fucking Joe Rockstar, gives us shit all the time about being very offensive heavy on the show, that we don't give enough credit to the defense. He's right. I like watching offense. It's more exciting. Don't get me wrong, I love defense, but offense is more exciting. But you're going to hear a lot of unders from me today because there's going to be a lot of teams that are very fucking rusty when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, especially because most guys are not playing in the preseason damn near at all anymore. So going under 43, Saints to cover. And that was it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And for me, it's going to be the Saints in this game as well. I know they are a little bit of a trendy sleeper pick in the NFC to make it to the playoffs. I do think that they have that potential. Mike Thomas may or may not play in this game. It's still kind of up in the air. He thinks that he's going to play. If he thinks he's going to play, I think that he probably will. But there's no need to really rush him back in. Regardless of if he plays, I do think that the Saints end up winning this game outright. So that would be my betting line, is to just bet Saints win here, even though it is being played in Atlanta. Now, Atlanta can be a bit of a sneaky team as well. They are improved, like along their offensive line and stuff. Their defense is okay, which last year it was absolute garbage. The interesting thing will to really be seeing how Mariota is able to go out there and perform for the Falcons. But the Saints team, we know they have a pretty solid defense. They've got some good offensive weapons, especially now with Olave. They do have Alvin Kamara coming back. So it'll be interesting to see. And like you said, Jameis, he's got a cannon of an arm. He has put up over 5,000 yards in a season before. So we know that he can sling that ball around. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for them. I do have the Saints winning this one. I don't know about that over-under. I feel like if the Saints were to get on a roll, that they could possibly put up enough points where it ends up making an over, but I'm not willing to bet on that just yet.
Okay. So a little news. Well, not news, but some numbers, right? So since 2000, underdogs are 175, 155, and 14 against the spread in week one games. And division home dogs even have a better record. So the smart play right here is probably Falcons if we're talking money, right? If we're talking purely on the bet, taking the division home dog is where you feel the best about the money based on the previous numbers. I just think the Saints are better than we're giving them credit for. I do not trust Marcus Mariota yet. I do not like their offensive weapons outside of Pitts. What the hell's the running back's name? I just forgot his name.
Cordero Patterson.
Cordero
They also
Patterson.
have the rookie Algier, who some people have him as a sneaky kind of offensive rookie of the year type pick.
No, fuck no.
I'm not.
So Cordero is a good player. He is getting up there in years, and he had almost 400 touches last year. He is going to be worn the fuck down.
And we saw that towards the end of the year last year.
Yes.
Cordero's numbers went down. He was being used a lot.
Almost 400 touches. So the history tells me I should take the home underdog in division, especially in week one. I'm not fucking doing it. I'm going with the away team. I'm going with the Saints, and I'm taking the cover.
I'm just going to take the Saints outright. I'm not going to factor in any of the points. The 5.5 that they would be getting.
Over under there though.
Yeah,
you said the under. Did I miss it?
Or I
you
feel
like the over.
I feel like the under, but I'm not betting on that.
Not betting. Not.
No, I'm not
got
betting
nothing on that.
Nope.
Listen, I'm not betting this game. I'm going to send you some money. I am not betting this game. I do not like this game, because I just read you the numbers. The numbers tell me to bet the Falcons. I don't think that's the case. So I'm staying away from this game. I'm not betting this one. The only reason I would bet this one is if I do like a money line parlay, get 16 wins, win $1 million, and then, just fuck around for a little while.
Fair enough. All right. Our next game at Soldier Field, we have the Bears and the 49ers. The Bears, who might not be at Soldier Field a whole lot longer because they're looking at a new stadium, which is much needed. So the line right now is San Francisco -7 and over under of 40.5. And this is kind of the coming out party for Trey Lance. I mean, I've got the 49ers winning this one personally, because I think the Bears are going to be atrocious. It feels like the front office there is setting the year up to allow them to just kind of lose out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So San Francisco -7, I'm almost willing to take that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't feel comfortable about Trey Lance, just like the organization doesn't, which is the reason they kept Jimmy G. Jesus Christ, the Chicago Bears team is going to be awful. They're going to be fucking terrible. I feel so bad for Justin Fields. I think he still does have a ton of talent. He will not get to find out if he does or not.
All the reports from this offseason in training camp and everything is that he's looked really good, that he's made big strides.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's post that real quick. There we go.
But if you're just looking pure, like, defense, we know is solid for the 49ers. And then they have just so much more on the offense as far as weapons. They still have Trent Williams, best left tackle in football. So, they're just top to bottom a better team, even if they do have some question marks at quarterback. But Lance has still shown that he has an arm to make some big time passes. And worst case, you just end up handing the ball off a bunch to Debo and things like that. And you're going to have a pretty awesome situation there going up against the Bears in week one. It's not a bye week, but it almost feels like one for most teams, because this Bears team is not going to be
this
good.
Bears team. And you kind of put me onto this because I was firmly on the Jets, but this Bears team is going to be the worst team in football. They're purposely trying to lose. Justin Fields has no fucking shot.
It's Fields and Darnell Mooney.
That's it. That's all they got. We have a call coming in and knew this was coming as well. Oh.
I'm not hearing it through the speakers. There we go.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Joe Rockstar, you are on with the Lineman Lounge. Before you start, I just want to warn you, if you are watching right now on your phone, you're going to miss some of what Evo says. I have not quite figured out the tech to get all the things coming from Evo through my phone while you are connected and all of the other watchers and listeners can hear you. But go ahead. What do you got? Because I know you're calling about them 49ers.
Oh, I just called in because it's been a long time since we talked. It's taken me this long to get over our loss. So I've been staying away from sports, but I'm about to hit a tee shot here at a 130-yard green. So thought I'd call in. I was thinking about you guys. I miss you guys.
I miss you too, man. Down there in Alabama now, right?
Yep. But you got to have a little faith in Trey and the 49ers.
Trey's very talented.
You know, if he whatever his shortcomings are, there's a great team around him. So we'll see what happens. But I think, again, defense wins games, and they're going to be doing it.
And there's Joe with the defense. I don't know if you were listening earlier. I said that you like to give a shit because we talk too much about offense. We don't give enough time to the defense.
Oh, I've been listening. You guys ruined my approach shot when you brought that up.
Yeah. I instantly pissed you off.
That's what ruined the approach shot.
Yeah, I took a 7 on that freaking par 4.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Evo said, I'm sure that's what ruined the approach.
All right, guys, I just wanted to call and say hi. I'm glad the season's starting, and you guys need to put your money on the Niners.
I think we're about to get to that money on the Niners aspect. But, Joe, thank you very much for calling in. It's great to hear from you, man. If you guys like motorcycle content, BMX, or not BMX, Jesus Christ, dirt bike racing content, go check out Joe Rockstar. He's a bad motherfucker.
Oh yeah, you guys need more dirt bike racing on your channel.
Send me some shit. I'll put it on here.
All right, peace out, buddy.
All right, brother. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
And for Joe popping in and saying hi, I'll drink to that.
Yeah, let's do that too. All right, so my last two 73 Kolsch's are gone. Those are really fucking good. I was surprised. I worry anytime you get like a micro brew, especially after, you know, like a legend, you're like, oh, I just slap this guy's face on a random beer. Those are super fucking good, man.
Yeah. Now, to what Joe was saying about Trey Lance, I'm not going to give credit to Trey Lance just yet. I want to see it. I want to see it consistently. I understand as a 49ers fan that you want to be all behind him because a big part of your future is resting on it. But I'll say this, 49ers are a very good team all around surrounding Trey Lance. He is in a great opportunity to
playing in the offense. This is perfect for him too.
Yeah. Be a part of a very successful team in a generally weaker NFC this year. And like I said, he's got a big arm. He can definitely throw those deep balls. I like his running capability, his mobility. And at the end of the day, this is a 49ers team that consistently beats the Packers in the playoffs, which I love. I love them for that. And if they're able to do that with Jimmy G, they can absolutely.
Here we go. The pocket shots are kicking in, baby.
It's catching up. They can absolutely do that with Trey Lance. It can give teams fits. So, you know, I'm all in on the 49ers on this game. Like I said, the line right now is San Francisco -7. I am leaning towards taking that because the Bears this year are just going to be so bad. I'm sorry, Scott Hernstrom and any other Bears fans out there, but I mean, they are doing not an implosion, but they are doing a full-on rebuild. And they might be trying to time this up with a new stadium or something like that, which could be a couple years.
Yeah, so I don't understand what their strategy will be, because they had a guy. Maybe the new, front office does not think very highly of Justin Fields. I expect Justin Fields to stick around after his 4 years are up. I don't think they'll extend him if this is what they're doing right now. They're going to be awful. They're going to be fucking terrible, dude. I don't know if I looked at the Bears schedule. if I looked at the Bears schedule, let's fucking do that right now. If I would pick them to win a single game, are they playing the fucking Jets? Because if they're not playing the Jets, I don't know if I pick them in to win any game.
49ers, Packers, Texans, meh. Giants, meh.
Giants,
Commanders, meh. I think that they'll get
Jets.
a
They
win.
do have the Jets. November
the Jets.
27th, they got the Jets. That is a game that they could potentially win, but that might be the only fucking game that they can win.
You know,
they're going to be
I feel like
so bad.
They'll get a win this year. I don't think that they will go winless, but and it might be more of a surprise win. It might not even be versus the Jets or something like that. It could be late on the season versus the Vikings when the Vikings are already got the 1 seed locked up and they're playing all their backups. I don't know. But you know, these are just things that we talk about. But I don't know. The Bears will get a win this year.
They will get one,
but I'm not willing to say 2.
They could get Jets. They could clip the Jets for sure, because I think the Jets are going to be terrible. I don't even think Zach Wilson's starting at that point in the season. Falcons, they could maybe get. They could get the Commanders because Carson Wentz is terrible at football. Dolphins, maybe. Dolphins have a pretty solid team outside of Tua, who we're going to talk about Tua after a little bit.
And Joe just responded back here.
I have a very bold prediction.
You guys got me all wrong. Though I'd rather have Jimmy. Lance barely has any pubes. You can't have him start for the greatest team in the NFL. Look, I think they are trying to model themselves after what happened with Mahomes. You know, let him sit and let him come in and let the big arm shine. And it absolutely could work that way.
It could. I haven't seen anything yet, so I cannot get all in behind the 49ers because I have absolutely no idea what Trey Lance is. I've seen flashes, just like we saw some flashes with Pat Mahomes. Nobody knew that Pat Mahomes was going to be Pat Mahomes, but Pat Mahomes. Like, I don't. How many times can I fit that name in one sentence? But nobody was expecting it. People were like, okay, mid-round pick. Now, the Niners moved up to go get him. I thought it was very interesting they decided to keep Jimmy around. I felt like it was a hedge because they were a little worried about Trey. He could be fantastic, and I would be like, okay, yeah. I mean, they traded a bunch of first-round picks for him. He's incredibly athletic. Fucking laser rocket arm. I don't know if he's played enough football. I think he might need a little more grooming. He may have one of those Aaron Rodgers early year this year. Like Aaron's first 2 years as a starter were not very fucking good. I mean, they weren't bad, but they weren't who Aaron is now. It's not like he came in and it was spectacular. Aaron had no shot at winning a Super Bowl in his rookie contract. And I don't know that Trey does either, just based on the growing pains he's going to have to go through because he needs a lot of fucking reps.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where he is by the end of this year, for sure. So did you get your picks in for this game, Mike?
I'm sorry. I had put that chew in my mouth. So let me look at what was the over-under? I missed that.
Over-under is 40.5.
Niners to cover. They'll cover 7.
That's what I'm leaning towards as well.
I'm taking the under because the Niners are not scoring 41 points.
Okay. So you're expecting no points from the Bears?
Max of 7.
Okay. I could see 10. A touchdown and a field goal.
But that's not a lot different. We're going to see 49ers score 31 first week with a new quarterback. I'm going under. Under, 49ers cover.
All right. Well, we'll move on to our next game here. Another early game. Steelers and Bengals being played in Cincinnati. And this line is looking very close to our last one. It is Cincinnati -7. And the over-under is 44.5.
I'd have loved 6 and a hook here. Because I would probably stay away from this game since it's an even 7. I think there's going to be a hangover for the Bengals. They're fantastic. They have probably the best wide receiver core in the NFL after some of the things that have happened down in Arizona with D-Hop being out. So I would say the Bengals have the best wide receiver core and probably the best young quarterback in the NFL in Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon is a stud. Defense is getting better. They still have Eli Apple, and they have drastically improved that offensive line. It's just so hard for me to root or bet against Mike Tomlin. He's coming into that Bill Belichick territory about the things that he can fucking magic out of thin air with a subpar team. Bengals on the money line for sure. But I think at 7, this is probably a push. Bengals on the money line, push, and I'm going under. I think we get a 24-20 game.
Okay. Me personally, I'm taking the Bengals spread. Cincinnati -7. I think that they will win by more than 7. I do think that this game will hit the over, actually. So I'm going opposite of you here. I think that the Steelers are going to be a decent team this year. Everyone likes to focus on the fact that Big Ben is gone. Big Ben was not a very good quarterback last year. He couldn't throw the ball more than like 5 yards last year.
Yeah, he was not helpful.
Trubisky has a bit more of an arm, can't throw left as much, but he can push the ball downfield a little bit more. Worst comes to worst, you have Pickett. I don't think Pickett will see time this game, but you're going to be taking some lumps with Trubisky at quarterback, but you also are going to be seeing a little bit more lively passing offense. Their offensive line is not great there for the Steelers, but they do have a big-time up-and-coming running back in Najee Harris. They've got plenty of okay to good receiving options from Deontay Johnson to George Pickens and I guess Claypool and Pat Freiermuth at tight end. So I think that the Steelers will be able to put up points. I think that they'll be able to get somewhere in the 17 to 20 point range. And then the Bengals, like you talked about, their defense is still solid, nothing spectacular.
They're getting better, but they're not good.
Yes, but the offensive side of the ball there for the Bengals is really the deal maker. I don't know that they're going to have that hangover. I don't get the same feeling that the Rams are having a Super Bowl hangover. It's, for me, the Bengals having a good offensive line to protect Joe Burrow is going to make a world of difference. He was already able to sling the ball around to all of those different receiving options. Now he's just going to have more time to do that and dissect the defense. I see the Bengals being able to put up 24 points easily. I see them getting closer to 30. So that's why I'm taking the over. And I think that that's why the Bengals will be able to, cover that -7. So I have the Bengals line and the over on this one.
Okay. All right. So by the way, are we keeping track of these? Because we talked about it before the show. We need to keep track of these fuckers this year.
I'm going to have to review this one, Mike, because I'm not currently in a state for making any more notes.
Do you remember the games that we have gone over at this point?
We've gone over the Saints, and Falcons. We've gone over the 49ers and Bears, and now the Steelers and Bengals.
Okay. So we are both on the 49ers and a cover, right?
I believe so. You're asking me to recall things from more than 5 minutes ago, and that's rough.
All right, I'm putting an Excel spreadsheet together. I'm terrible Excel. I'm gonna need some help with this probably, but 49ers cover. I'm going Cincinnati on a money line. You're going Cincinnati cover?
Yes, and the over.
Cincinnati cover. And what was the other game we talked about? That was
Saints and Falcons. That was New Orleans -5.5 over under 43.
Saints cover, right?
I'm going Saints money line and not picking the over under.
I'm going Saints cover, And you're going Saints money.
Correct.
All right, so I'm gonna try to keep track of these as we're going along. I don't know if I want to hit the over unders. Those are much tougher to get every week, but if we can do the money line, we could do the money line over under and keep track of those. I think I feel good about that because I mean, right now the only thing that we disagree on is you are going Cincinnati cover. I'm going Cincinnati. Oh, actually, I take that back. We're actually the only thing we do agree on is 49ers covering right now.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
So, well, we all got the same teams. If it gets down to the point where we're picking different teams, then we'll negotiate that when we get to it and figure out how we're going to score that. But I want to keep track of the bets this year. We had a nice little wager last year. I was actually before the show started. Before this dapper son of a bitch showed up in his suit, I was wearing my Browns cutoff hoodie that Evo purchased, wore on the show because the Browns beat the Vikings last year. But when I saw him show up like that, I had to do a little something, even though I definitely turned it into my own thing. Yeah, so I'd like to have a nice little tally this year, how our bets go, how our picks go, and then we'll let people kind of see each week how we did, and then gamble wisely. You can take whatever advice you'd like, and yeah, it'll be fun to kind of keep track of that. Spicy Mike tried to start doing that for us, and then we got off the rails a couple times, and it went away.
Yep. All right, next game. Another early game. We have the Eagles and the Lions being played at Ford Field in Detroit. This is an interesting one. The line is Philadelphia -5 with an over-under of 48.5. Where are you at?
I like the Lions. I like the Lions a lot, and you guys will hear more about that when we get to our bold predictions. I think Philly's going to be so fucking good, though. They're going to win that division. They're going to be able to run the ball really, really fucking well. I think the passing attack will be improved as well. And I think there may be some packages for Gardner in there at some point. Because I think they really like what Gardner brings to the table. It's a different dynamic. I would not be surprised to see both of them on the field at the same time at some point this year, not just as a decoy. I think they could do something very interesting there. So I'm going to go Eagles. Going Eagles money line. 5 is close to where I want it to be. If it's 4, I maybe go Eagles on the spread. But I think the Lions are going to be really improved this year. So I'm going Eagles money line, and I'm still taking the under.
I'm going Lions with the points. I think the Eagles will win this one, but I would love to see the Lions take home a win here. And so if they're going to give me 5 points, I'm going to take that because I think this could be a closer game than people are expecting. Yeah. That Lions team is nothing but emotion, and playing at home after hard knocks and everything. The fans are going to be very excited for this team. So I'm going to go Lions with the points, +5. Over under, I'm not sure. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, I feel really good about the unders this week because I think there's going to be too many new faces in new places. Jesus Christ, I only had 2 beers. You're at 9 shots deep.
I'm not sure. Somewhere
in there. So if you're picking a winner here, who you got for a winner? Eagles?
No, I'm just going to go Lions. I'm going to go Lions.
Lions with the points.
Lions and the points. And if I had to do a money line, it would be the Lions as well, just because I'm going to feel a little ballsy here as we get deeper into the show.
There we go. All right. All right.
All right.
What is our next game?
We have the Patriots and Dolphins being played down in Miami. All right. The line currently is Miami -3.5 and the over-under of 46.5. Now, I know Dave Portnoy did not like this because he's very bullish on his Patriots. And this year, I am not. I feel like this is a 500-ish team for the Patriots.
I don't disagree with that.
It's an interesting Miami team. I love their new head coach. I'm not sold on Tua. I'm not part of that Tualicious Fergie-led Miami fan base. But I think that the Dolphins, they always give the Patriots fits. They always give the Patriots fits in Miami. So I will take either the points from Miami or just the Miami to win outright. But I got Miami in this game.
What do you want?
Yeah.
I'm putting it down on the Excel spreadsheet. Do you want Miami on the spread, or do you want Miami money line?
Let me see here. I've got a note for this one. Maybe this will help refresh my brain and give the viewers and listeners an idea here. So really, this comes down to Bill Belichick for me. Belichick is 25-4 when he's going against a rookie head coach since 2010. I just don't think the Patriots are that good. So I'm going to take Miami winning outright, the money line, because the line right now of 3.5, if it was 3, I'd probably take that. 3.5, that gets me a little bit more worried.
The
so
hook,
I'm just
man. The hook will kill you.
I'm just going to take Miami to win outright.
All right. So that is a great stat. That's one of the reasons I'm going the way I'm going. I'm taking the Patriots plus the 3.5. So if you don't, if you're a kind of a passive fan, you just follow your team. Maybe you don't know, but there is something called that Miami, like the Miami hangover, right? Where you go down to Miami, you want to go out, you want to fuck around, you want to do some things, and then maybe you don't show up in your best abilities on a Sunday. Bill Belichick is fantastic against rookie head coaches, but he also had the Patriots down in Miami on a Tuesday. They are not going to be dealing with that fucking Miami flu, the Miami hangover, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They've been down there. They've gotten Miami out of their systems. This team is going to be ready to play. I am not big. I'm not high on the Patriots at all. I think they are a sub 500 team, 8-9, somewhere in that range. But based on the history of Bill Belichick, based on the fact that they have been down there and they can stay away from some of that hangover from being in Miami, I'm on the Patriots plus the 3.5.
All right. And one other note that I have about the Patriots in general, as far as maybe fantasy and stuff like that, if you're looking for a running back situation in New England, it usually is difficult to pick there because Bill likes to switch things around a lot. Ramondre Stevenson is my guy this year for the Patriots. I think that he will end up being their lead
I went with Harris.
I saw that when you drafted it, and I was like, no, Mike, because I was looking at Ramondre. I was like, all right, if someone's going to take him, I want it to be you. And you went with Damian Harris. I like Ramondre Stevenson. Bill Belichick does not give a lot of praise in his pressers, and he's been praising Ramondre a lot. So, and Ramondre actually looked pretty decent last year. He's receiving
Master of the mind game. Master
So,
of the mind game, Bill Belichick is. He's pumping up one guy, and you're going to see another one.
Very possible, very possible. But he's been pumping him up all preseason. I feel good about Ramondre. So if you got Ramondre in your fantasy draft, I think that maybe not here in the first couple of weeks, but I think that he will be a solid option for you going forward and one that you can lean a little bit more on as a flex type of player. Or if you have to play him as your RB2, he should be good for you. Moving on, we have our next game, Ravens and Jets. All right, this is being played in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The line currently is Baltimore minus 6.5 and over under of 44.
This is the fucking Ravens in a cakewalk. I got Ravens on the cover for sure. And this game won't even be close. Joe Flacco is playing for the Jets. This is not a revenge game for Joe Flacco at all. They're going to be able to get pressure. The Jets have some weapons on offense-ish now. I love Garrett Wilson. They're not going to be able to keep up at all. And Lamar is going to ball out because he did not get his deal done. I got Ravens minus 6.5, and this was no question for me. This is actually one of the few games of the week that I'm going to take the over. I think the Ravens put up 30 plus.
I definitely have the Ravens winning this game. I have them covering the spread there of minus 6.5. I don't know if I'm going to take the over because I don't know that we're going to see a whole bunch from the Jets. I mean, Flacco is a guy. He can run an offense. He doesn't excite me. Anyone that's been getting hyped about Breece Hall being there, I mean, I get it, but he's not going to be the starting back, and I don't think he's going to be the starting back by the end of the year. I think that you're going to be seeing plenty of Michael Carter, and it is going to be a committee. It's been a committee there for a while, and you have Robert Saleh from San Francisco. They're a committee back type system, and that's what he's going to be carrying over there to the Jets for the long term. I like Breece Hall, but I don't think that he's ever going to get that RB1 type potential. So that's not a huge upgrade there. They do have some more weapons. What has been done over there by their GM for the Jets, they are a better team. I do see them being able to get to maybe 5-6 wins this year if it's a real good year for them. But the MILF Hunter ain't playing. Nope. It's going to be Flacco out there, and Baltimore should be able to walk all over him. I do see Baltimore being able to put up somewhere around 30 points. I just don't see the Jets being able to put up much more than 3 or 7.
Nah, I think they can get 14. And if they get 14 and I got the Ravens going over 30, that's why I'm taking the over. But I do have another bet. This is a bet that I'm sending money to you to make for me. And it's on a touchdown score. Right now, you can get Lamar Jackson plus 135, so plus money on a anytime touchdown for Lamar Jackson. He's running one in this week.
Yeah,
he's going to prove his worth. He's going to say there's nobody in the league that can do the things that I can do with my fucking legs. I'm improving with my arm. He's going to look very good. Lamar Jackson plus 135 anytime touchdown score. I'm hammering it. I'm probably putting $25 on that. And for anybody new watching the show, if you don't know the way bets work, we should probably discuss that with you guys, especially I'm in Ohio now. Now, you guys can't bet yet, but you will be able to at some point. So if I have a line, it says a pick, right? It just says pick or plus 100. That is even money. I put down $100. I win $100. So I put in my money. I win their $100 and I get my $100 back. I have $200 in my pocket. If I have a minus 150, I put in 100. I win 50 of their dollars. So I get a total of 150 coming back. That's what that minus means, right? Plus 150 would be I put in 100. They pay me 150. I get my 100 back. So I turn $100 into 250. That is a great bet. I like taking plus bets, especially when I think they're going to be easy to hit. So Lamar Jackson at plus 135 on an anytime touchdown. I love that bet. I think it is absolutely going to hit this week. I see no reason why it shouldn't. The Jets are going to be out of position probably more than once. Robert Saleh is a really good defensive coach, but it is week 1. I expect Lamar Jackson to put one in the end zone for sure.
Yeah, I have that all day as well. All right, next game we have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Washington Commies. This is being played in Landover. Ring the bell. Watch out for Carson Wentz to possibly get injured because that field loves to kill quarterbacks and he loves to get hurt. The line is currently Washington -3. and over under of 44. For me, I'm taking the under on this one.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just going to go ahead and take Jaguars with the points because I don't trust the commies.
Jaguars with the points +3.
Yep. Jaguars +3 for me. And I'm going to go on the under on this one. I mean, like I said, this is injury watch territory all season long for Carson Wentz, even more so when he's playing at home. He has those weeks where he looks okay, but more often than not, he doesn't look good, and he loves to get injured.
Yeah, so I don't understand this line at all. I don't think the Commanders are going to be that good. We saw their defense have some really big holes in it last year when we expected them to be a lot better than they were. I think the Jags are an improving team. I expect that offense is going to be really, really dynamic. They're getting Etienne back.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Etienne fits into this offense because, I mean, the comps were to Kamara quite often when he was coming out. If he's able to reach 80% of that potential, he's a very dynamic back. Now, another thing to watch as well is James Robinson. A lot of people wrote him off after last year because he came out of nowhere 2 years ago as a undrafted guy and put up very, very solid numbers as a pretty much pure rusher. And then he got hurt last year, and last year was just a train wreck for that team and Urban Meyer and that whole situation. Robinson is back. He can be your solid, realistically a 3-down running back, but now you're adding an explosive weapon in Kamara. So don't write off Robinson. Joe Rockstar, if you're still listening, I'll hate myself for this, but he took him out of his lineup against me this week in fantasy, which was surprising to me. I think that you aren't going to ever really get blown away by James Robinson, but he's solid for around 10 points for you every week.
Yeah, you give the kid 15 carries, he's going to get you 80 yards. He might get you a catch or two. He's not a world beater, but he is a solid back. I think Etienne brings a really fantastic dynamic to this offense. And we can see Trevor Lawrence use that because Trevor Lawrence is incredibly athletic, something that we saw in spurts a little bit last year. Not as much as we saw in college, but he's an athletic guy. So if you get an Etienne back there, they can do some really dynamic things. I am totally disagreeing with Vegas on this line. I am Jags money line.
Yeah, I think the Jags are going to win outright, but I'll take the points.
You're going to take the point. I'm taking Jags money line. You can get Jags money line right now at +130. So I'm getting more plus money. And I do not like that Commanders team. I love Terry McLaurin, but there's not much else about that team that I like.
I mean, I'm an Antonio Gibson fan. I don't like how J.D. McKissick cuts into his share as much as he does, and J.D. McKissick is back with the team. I ended up drafting J.D. McKissick because of this. Because
Antonio Gibson's in the fucking doghouse, though, man. They're not even sure he's going to play that much. Like a guy that I really like, as a football player in general. I don't love him on this team. I think he goes somewhere else. He'd be very good for another team, especially as a change of pace back who's really good at catching the ball. But he's in the doghouse right now. So I don't know what they're going to do at running back. I hate their offensive line. Everybody on this show knows how Evo and I feel about Carson Wentz. And their defense showed that they had some major issues, especially if that front can't generate pressure with 4. So I'm on Jags money line. This is going to be the start of a nice little Doug Peterson era. This team is going to be drastically improved. I got 6-7 wins from the Jags because they actually have an adult running that team now. They don't have somebody fingering butts in the middle of a club. They have a guy who's won a Super Bowl. That plays very well for that team because they need an adult to help right that ship. And I think they got one in Doug Peterson. And I'm not a big Doug Peterson guy, but he's going to be better than Urban Meyer.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a low bar for him to have to surpass, but we know that Doug Peterson is good at team building. I paid a lot more attention to Doug Peterson when there was talks about him possibly coming to be the Vikings head coach this year. And it sounded like the real issues with him in Philly were between him and the front office.
Yeah.
So
it had to deal with Carson and some of the things that were going on there. So I think
Howie Roseman.
Oh yeah.
All that whole situation. So I give it a year or two. Doug will right the ship there in Jacksonville. I think the Jacksonville fans have some pretty positive things to look forward to in the next couple of years.
I do as well. I absolutely do. But before we move on to our next game, if I don't take a piss, it's gonna be gnarly because we got a lot of games to cover still.
All righty. Well, I'm going to start talking about the next game, but I'll slow play it a little bit. So our next game here, I'm skipping over Mike's team, the Browns, and we're going to go straight into the Colts versus the Texans. This is the last of our early games other than Mike's game. This game is being played in Houston, and the line is Indy -7 and over under of 45.5. I like the Colts a lot this year. Matt Ryan was a great pickup. Matt Ryan has definitely fallen off. He's not what he once was, but he is still head and shoulders above Carson Wentz. The guy can still pass the ball around. I'm not worried at all about him playing for the Colts. I think that, I mean, he makes the Colts already a playoff team. They're a deep run playoff team at this point. Unfortunately, their linebacker Shaq isn't going to be playing for him this game. I don't know that it makes that much of a difference. I like Davis Mills on the Texans. What he did coming out of Stanford last year as a 4th-round pick is admirable, but he, again, is kind of that game management guy. I feel that in my gut that he is that high-tier backup quarterback and that they don't have their guy there in Houston. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens with their rookie running back, which I know Mike is all in on because he ended up taking him maybe a little bit higher than he should have in the draft for fantasy this year. But Dameon Pierce looks like he can be a very solid running back. And for me, I'm taking the Colts here easy. They are top to bottom a very good team. The only question mark that I really have for the Colts is the receiving options. Michael Pittman is a stud. He had a great year last year. He's going to build on that year this year. Alec Pierce, I think, has a outside chance of maybe even getting an offensive rookie of the year type award at wide receiver for them. I need to see a lot more from him, but I do like that as an option. And then beyond that, Mo Alley Cox is your tight end. But I mean, when you have Jonathan Taylor at the end of the day, you could run the ball constantly. You've got Naheem Hines still as a good receiving backup option at running back. That Colts defense is solid. So this Colts team in a tough AFC, I fully expect them to make the playoffs this year. And Matt Ryan is a very solid option for him, as Mike shows off his beautiful cannons there, the pythons just busting through the shirt.
Oh yeah. When I tried to tear the sleeves off, I tore the seams down the side, and it was gnarly.
Oh yeah. But we're talking about the Colts and the Texans here, Mike. The line right now is Indy -7 over under at 45.5. It is being played in Houston. And for me, Matt Ryan elevates this team. They're already a playoff team. He elevates this team even further. I'm expecting a great year, a comeback year for Matt Ryan. And I've got Indy winning this game. I'm even willing to take Indy and the points -7.
-7.
Mm-hmm. I like this Colts team a lot. I know Kimmel will love to hear that. I know that he's high on them as well.
Oh yeah.
They're just a really good team. This Texans team. Look, Lovie Smith, he just has not been good as a head coach. I like him as a coordinator, but he has not been good as a head coach. He's got a losing record as a head coach. He's got both in the NFL and in college. I know the players like him, but it just does not translate to good play on the field, other than when he is running a defense as a coordinator.
Defense, yeah.
So I'm not expecting to see a ton out of the Texans this year. Like I said, Davis Mills, I think, is a high-end backup fringe type starter, which is fine for the Texans right now while they don't have an option at quarterback. And then I also brought up Dameon Pierce, running back. I'm interested to see what happens with him, and I know that you are.
I'm very excited to see what Dameon Pierce can do because I drafted him in multiple fantasy leagues. I think he's going to be kind of a bell cow for him. They're going to need it too. I like Davis Mills. I'm kind of with you though. I think he is a fringe starter. Could be a really good career backup. I think that team will be improved from where they were last year, but I don't know that it's enough. I think 7 points is a lot in this game just because it's a division game. Talked about it earlier.
And the Colts do have some issues here and there with Houston.
Division home dogs perform well against the spread. So if this is at 6.5, I take the Colts because I think they can win by a touchdown. But I think that's exactly where that line is at a touchdown. I think Vegas is very right on this. So I'm going to go Indy on the money line here just because 7 is tough. When you beat a team by more than 7 in the NFL, you kick their ass because the competition is much closer than things that we're going to see in college football. So I'm going to go Indy money line. I think they could cover. No doubt that they will win though. So I'm going to go Indy money line.
All right. Now we're kind of going to move into our afternoon games where we've got one kind of maybe sleeper game that's, so. The rest of the games going on for this afternoon on Sunday look like they're going to be pretty awesome. So First game, Giants and Titans. This game is being played in Nashville. Currently, the line is Tennessee -5.5 with an over-under of 44. I don't think the Giants are a very good team. I am looking forward to seeing what happens with them in the next couple of years because I do love their head coach GM combo that they got there. Danny Dimes has been looking better in this preseason. I don't think that he'll ever be elevated to that Josh Allen level that Dable was able to get in Buffalo. But I honestly kind of was surprised that the line is only -5.5 for Tennessee. I expected it to be a little bit bigger. So for me, I'm taking Tennessee -5.5. I do think that they can beat the Giants easily there. There's nothing really to write home about with this Giants team. They're expecting Saquon to have a good year. I did take him in, I believe, the 3rd round of our draft because I think that that's a good value right there for his upside if he's able to stay healthy. So I was, like I said, surprised that it was only 5.5 on this.
Yeah, I expected this to be bigger as well. I think people are giving Dayball that team a boost because of Dayball. I am nowhere anywhere. I'm super cold on Danny Dimes, and quite frankly, I'm kind of cold on Saquon too. I don't know that he's that bell cow that everybody expected. He had a ton of usage in college, 400 carries a year for like 3 years in college. That wears you down. We've seen injuries be a massive part of his career so far. So I'm kind of off on Saquon. I think he has some ability still left in there, but he's never going to be that guy that you saw at Penn State. I just don't see it.
It's very possible.
And it sucks because Saquon was one of the greatest running back prospects that's come out in the draft in quite some time. He was fucking electric. He was in his rookie year. There's a reason he won Rookie of the Year. I mean, I think that the wear and tear is catching up to his body, and we're starting to see that. I am not a big fan of the Titans. I think that they are going to have a massive down year. I think there's a possibility we will see a quarterback change there. Tannehill is going to have to play his ass off, but he won't have to in this game. We're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry, a fucking shit ton of Derrick Henry. They're going to run it right down the Giants' throat. And I'm also on Tennessee minus the 5.5 because I expected this to be much higher than what it is right now.
Yeah, I expected it to be closer to 7 points for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Our next game here, Chiefs and Cardinals, gets a little interesting. This is being played in Glendale where the Super Bowl is going to be held this year. And right now the line is Kansas City minus 6.5 with an over-under of 53.5. They're expecting this to be a shootout, which interesting for the Cardinals. They don't really have a ton of, Rondale Moore, he's not playing. D-Hop, obviously not playing.
Yeah.
AJ Green, we saw what he was last year. He is an aged version of himself. And so you've got Hollywood Brown as your receiving option there for the Cardinals. I think James Conner is going to have himself a pretty solid year. The team actually seemed to have some uptick when he was starting at running back and Chase Edmonds was out. But I don't know that it'll be as much of a shootout as they're expecting. Whereas Mahomes, yes, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but he still has Kelsey, and he has a whole bunch of like number 2 style receivers there. I think that he will be able to spread the ball around a lot. He said as much himself. He's like, for the fantasy players out there, it's not just going to be Tyreek and Kelsey anymore. He's like, you're going to have to pick the right guy every week. So they're going to be able to spread the ball around quite a bit. It won't be the same offense that we've seen, but they still will be a prolific passing offense like they are year in, year out with Mahomes. I do think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I'm actually willing to take the Cardinals plus the points.
I'm surprised we're going the same way because I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking the Cardinals with the points.
The interesting thing, the scary part of it for me is that the Cardinals have the worst set of defensive backs in the league. That they are going to have a very tough time defending against Patrick Mahomes here, even here in Arizona.
The matchup I'm excited for is Isaiah Simmons versus Travis Kelce. That is a very intriguing matchup to me. I think that's where the game can be won or lost. I'm a huge fan of Sky Moore. We're going to talk about him some more when we get into our bold predictions. But I think this game is closer than what they're making it. I think the loss of that amount of talent along the Kansas City offense is going to play a factor because they didn't only lose Tyreek. They lost one of the best right tackles in all of football, Mitchell Schwartz, this year. That offensive line we saw how much of a detriment that could be to that Kansas City offense in the Super Bowl that they lost. Like, that offensive line is a massive part of what they are trying to do. I don't love their running back situation. I am very interested to see how much Pacheco gets involved in this game plan because I think he will be a big factor going on later in the season. Even though he did not have great numbers in his college career, he looked like the most explosive guy on that team during the preseason. And I think
I think his numbers. I mean, people write in CEH, Edwards-Helaire as the starter there.
I don't think that's going to be the case later on.
But they also have Jerick McKinnon there, who is a good change of pace and receiving back. I think Pacheco and CEH have relatively close numbers, and Pacheco by the end of the year might be edging him out as far as pure just total rush yards and stuff like that.
I think so too.
Because I think that he might end up being the better runner. McKinnon is going to be the receiving back for sure. This is make or break for CEH because I don't see him sticking around if he doesn't all of a sudden.
He's going to have to break. So CEH jumped onto the scene, had a 100-yard game, his first fucking NFL game. And we have not seen a ton out of him since then. Injuries have plagued his career. I'm on Cardinals plus 6.5. I think this game is going to be much closer than people are giving it credit for. I love Sky Moore, but I don't listen. You know what hasn't come out recently? A new Call of Duty game. Kyler's going to be really good. Kyler's going to look really good for a while. James Conner, I think, is perfect for that system. I'm not a huge James Conner guy, but I think he fits really well in that system. I would like to see some more receivers out there for the Cardinals, but I think that this game will not be a blowout because 6.5 is a massive line. That is a huge line for two playoff teams. Mm. And I don't see it.
If you're wanting to bet on the Cardinals, I would do it early in the year because that's been the Cardinals thing is they'll look great for the first half of the year and then fall off towards the end. And then
I still think the Chiefs win. But I got Cardinals covering 6.5
with the points. Yeah. And I will say this, Kyler does love Hollywood. He wants to get him involved. Hollywood has that good deep speed that you're looking for deep passes. And Kyler is very accurate with the deep ball. So I would expect to see some big passes, some long passes to Hollywood, but it's everything else in between that is really the question.
James Conner is going to have to be a linchpin.
Is a little beat up. He's older, so
James Conner is going to be the make or break in this game. If James Conner can find some good rushing lanes and they can open up a little bit of that play action, I really, really like their potential. Torres.
I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that too. I have plans later, and I'm going to be drunk when I show up.
I think I have plans too.
Torres obviously missed the beginning of the show where I also looked sexy as fuck, and then I cut the sleeves off of this collared shirt.
Oh, you still do look sexy, Mike.
Oh, I mean, I pop the chain, get the hat on. I'm
it's starting a little bit more Tarzan Amazonius.
Yeah,
sexy.
Right I'm starting to lose some hair here in the front, so I'm gonna toss the hat on. I always told myself that when I start going bald, I'm just gonna shave it off. It's not happening yet. It's coming at some point because the amount of hats I wear. But I got the hat, I got the chain, I got the fucking tie. I feel good. The shirt looks like dog shit though. I wish I would have done a better job of cutting it. I do look rugged. Rugged as fuck. Oh, don't worry, kid. We're coming. I said I have plans. I didn't say I wasn't going to those plans. I just said I'm going to be drunk when I fucking get there. So you guys better have your goddamn party pants on.
All right. You got any more to say about the Cardinals and Chiefs here, Mike, before we move on?
I don't.
All right. So next up, we have the Raiders and the Chargers being played in Inglewood, California. This is home game for the Chargers. The line currently is Chargers -3.5 and an over/under of 52. This could be another big-time offensive match. Now, I do have some stats for us here. The underdog is 19-7 in their last 26 meetings between the Chargers and the Raiders. And also Derek Carr is 6-2 against the spread in week 1 for his whole career. So something to take into account here. The Chargers are a hot media pick to be a phenomenal team. They did a lot this offseason. They were already damn good. The Raiders did a lot too. They did.
The playoffs though.
They did. I mean, you see a lot of Herbert MVP talk as well. But the Raiders do have a solid offensive group there as well. I'm not so sure on their defense if it's going to hold up.
Oh, I really like this Raiders defense.
Yeah?
Oh, their front four is fantastic, dude.
I mean, they're good. And they are in the Ndamukong Suh talks as well, possibly bringing him in as well. But
as are my boys. I would love to bring in Ndamukong Suh, actually. But
and the Vikings have had talks as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams talking to Suh right now. Go ahead, give me your picks because I want to hear, because it sounds like you're going Chargers, and I want to hear about why you're going Chargers.
For me, I do think that the Chargers will win this one. I'm willing to take the Raiders with the points here, though.
Okay, the Raiders with the points.
So because Carr got all these extra weapons and stuff now, I do like their offense a little bit. I think I believe the running back's name is Zamir White. I think that he will be the surprise back for the Raiders this year. They were willing to let go.
They're entertaining trade conversations.
Yeah. And obviously we're going to see some Josh Jacobs out there, but he's not what he once was. I think Zamir White has looked pretty good this preseason, and people think that he's the real deal. I like the Chargers team a lot. I do think the Chargers will win, but I'm going to give the Raiders plus the points here.
All right. So all that thing where I was saying that we were going to disagree, that we're right on the same page then. I'm going Raiders plus the points as well. Derek Carr is really fucking good. I don't know why people continue to doubt Derek Carr. He's been really good for a long fucking time. He had a couple of down years, yes, but he was also coming off of massive fucking injury when he was having an MVP season. And now Derek Carr is being the Derek Carr that people kind of expected. He had a really bad internal relationship with Gruden, and I think that affected his play a little bit, but Derek Carr is a fucking baller. Devontae Adams is going to absolutely change the way that offense looks. Hunter Renfrow is going to eat in the slot. Devontae can win outside. Darren Waller, we talked about him earlier, got a massive contract and is going to fucking destroy the middle of the field. I'm a little concerned about their running back situation, but their offensive line is decent. Okay. So a decent offensive line is a little scary going against that rejuvenized Chargers defensive front. because they go and they add a Khalil Mack, right? But this Raiders fucking defensive front is no slouch. Raiders add a Chandler Jones, who is like the ageless wonder. He just keeps getting fucking sacks, bro. I don't understand. Like, he is so good. And Max Crosby is an absolute fucking stud on the other side. They have some dudes on that defensive line that I think can really put some pressure on Herbert, and an offensive line that is still trying to come together for the Chargers. They addressed it in the offseason because they know they need to be better there. That's one of the areas they really struggled in last year. But this is week one. That offensive line is not going to be gelled like we'll see them mid-season. I think Chandler Jones and Max Crosby can cause some serious fucking havoc. I'm going Raiders plus the points because I think this is going to be a very close game, and I will take the extra points. I think either team could win, but I'm
just not sold on the Raiders' back end of their defense.
Yeah,
I do like their front four.
I love their front four.
Yeah, but I mean, you got Khalil Mack and Bosa as well,
and it's on both sides. Like, this game of the week right here, Raiders Chargers game of the week. I believe now they got a massive number. Was it 52 and a half? What the hell was the over?
52 is the over under. Which I'm surprised that it's less than the Cardinals Chiefs. I think that this one could end up really good.
This could absolutely be a high scoring game, but I really like the way that both fronts can affect the passer. I could see this being a lower scoring game, but this will be the game of the week. This is coming down to probably a late field goal at the end of the game. So I'm taking the extra points and going with the Raiders plus 3.5. The hook gives me exactly what I want.
Yep. Daniel Carlson has been known to go out there and boot some game winners. So
yeah,
that could bode very well for the Raiders. All right. Next, our Sunday night game, we have the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. This is being played in Texas. The line is currently Tampa Bay minus 2.5 with an over-under of 50.5. That over-under, I think, is a little bit too high, so that makes it easy for me to take the under on it. And both of these teams, I just don't feel great about. I mean, you've got a injury issue on the Tampa Bay offensive line with a haggard-looking Brady, and more coming out about relationship issues between him and Giselle possibly, and all of that jazz, which we're not one of these tabloid magazines, so we don't really need to get into that too much.
We're not.
But then on the other side,
I will wildly speculate on their relationship, but we're not a tabloid.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that Dallas defense, but on offense, Zeke is not that great. Pollard will help.
I got to turn that down real quick because we're about to get a ban.
To accept, press 1.
All right.
To send a voicemail,
we got our guy calling in. I'm going to put him on hold real quick, though.
Press 1.
All right.
Hey, Torres, you're on with the Lineman Lounge, but I'm about to put you on hold. You need to wait. We are right in the middle of breaking down a game, and then I'll bring you in.
Sounds good.
All right, go ahead.
But Zeke is not that great. It doesn't sound like they're going to be getting Pollard the lion's share. It sounds like Zeke is still
even though he should be getting it.
Absolutely. Gallup not playing.
Nah, yeah.
You guys have CeeDee Lamb, and with Tyron Smith out, I don't trust that offensive line. I don't know that between Dak and CeeDee that they have enough, and the limited stuff that you're going to see from Pollard. It's a weird situation. I do like Dalton Schultz as well. But interesting stat for this one, Brady is 2-6 against the spread in his last 8 week 1 games. All right. So doesn't start off hot. And that Buccaneers team, we've seen it. They kind of start off slow. And then the Cowboys have covered 7 straight games as a home dog.
Wow.
Leave it to you.
Wow. I did not have, I knew Tom wasn't good early in the year. I didn't know that they had covered 7 straight as home dogs, though. Fuck.
All right.
That might
bring
change.
Torres in?
That might
give yourself to think about it.
Bit. Yeah. We'll bring Torres in and then give me some time to stew on all that. Sexy Torres, shotguns you're on with the Lineman Lounge. Go ahead, brother. What you got for us?
What's going on? So I was listening patiently, and then I realized you guys went into your Sunday night, and I realized that I missed you guys talking about the Colts.
We did talk about the Colts, but if you would like to go ahead, go back and revisit it, we can absolutely do that for you.
I will. Yes, I would love that. So, what are we thinking? I know Texans are trash right now.
Improving.
What are you thinking on fucking FanDuel?
So I can't actually look at FanDuel because I'm in a illegal state for FanDuel. I am looking at all my lines on Caesars right now because I can access all the lines on Caesars, even though I'm not in a legal state. It just won't let me place a bet. FanDuel is much more strict. So I don't know what it shows on FanDuel. On Caesars, we were seeing Indy -7. Evo is on Indy -7. I'm on Indy money line. I think the game for me is right around 7 points. I think the Texans are an improved team. I am okay on Davis Mills. I think he is probably a career backup. I think he will be a long time quarterback in the NFL as a backup. He could be a fringe starter. I'm excited about their running back situation. But they don't have enough juice to beat your boys. The Colts are going to be really fucking good this year. I think Matty Ice absolutely elevates that team compared to where they were last year. Matt Ryan is an absolute pros pro, former MVP, been to the Super Bowl. So I think he is going to be a godsend to that team that is very close to being a Super Bowl contender. Evo, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in on this Colts team this year. I think that they are going to be awesome. I don't remember if you were in the room for this one or not, Mike, but I said Alec Pierce is a outside looking in offensive rookie of the year candidate if he gets enough targets. I haven't seen enough yet to be able to kind of be bullish on him, but you've got Michael Pittman, Mo Alley Cox, and then not a whole lot else as far as receiving options. Jonathan Taylor is still going to be a stud this year, but if Alec Pierce is able to kind of be that good second receiver, I'll feel a lot more confident in this Colts team throughout the entirety of the season. But I think that they're easy a double-digit win team. I think that they're a playoff team, and really it's going to hinge on if they're able to consistently have good receiving options for Matt Ryan down the stretch in the playoffs, how deep they can go.
Yeah, so we are both on the Colts week 1. I'm going money line because I feel like 7 is the right number. Evo is taking them -7 because he thinks he can beat them by more than that.
What do you think our defense is going to have or look like with that little ding with Shaquille Leonard? Well, Darius Leonard, but he's going by Shaquille now. He's going to be sitting this one out, and he is kind of like one of our, go-to guys for our defense. Do you think that they'll be able to stop the run without him playing?
Yeah, it won't matter. I think DeForest Buckner in the middle is going to clog up lanes all day. This is not a great week to play Pierce, in my opinion, because I think your guys' front four is really good. Missing your stud linebacker is going to kind of stink, but I do not expect them to give up, giant chunk yardage. I think Pierce will have a decent day. He'll get his 65, maybe 70 yards, but they're not going to be gashed just because they're missing Darius, now Shaq Leonard. Evo, do you got anything on that?
Well,
nope, I feel the same.
All right, so Evo is the same way. What else you got for us, Taurus? Anything?
Well, let's grab your drinks and let's. I'm like halfway through a Voodoo Ranger, so it's probably like whatever's left in here is probably the full alcohol content of whatever girly drink you're drinking.
I'm drinking a High Noon. They're 5%. Fuck off. Evo is drinking a fucking half gallon of Tito's. So
let's do this.
All right.
On you, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to finish what I got here. You finish your Voodoo Ranger. Evo, I'm sure you'll drink to that. But cheers, gentlemen. 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
Lost the headset.
Oh, done.
There we go.
Oh, God, I'm sorry, everybody listening. Nobody likes it when you burp. So excuse me.
Evo, loosen up that tie, bro. Loosen up that tie. Get loose.
I'm gonna
You
have
guys look
to.
fantastic. Thanks for having me on every
That's
week.
a good fucking idea.
And I'll stay tuned in.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you calling in all the time, being a massive supporter of the show. Now, if you guys don't know, you guys like that intro song, that badass intro song with the incredible vulgarities that are in there. The guy behind the guitar riff, one of the massive supporters from the beginning of this thing, is our guy Torres. Calls in all the time. I cannot thank you enough for the support that you have shown the show, for all the work that you have done putting together the guitar lick and doing some editing on the intro song. So thank you, man. Love you, miss you, and I cannot wait to see you out here in Cleveland when you come and visit, because we're gonna have a good fucking time.
Sounds good, brother. Sooner than later, man.
All right, buddy.
Go Colts.
See you, Torres.
Fuck.
All right, there's our guy. I love that guy, man. He's such a good dude. When we were trying to come up with the new song, the new intro for the show, going from just me to both of us, he was all in on doing the guitar riff, and so love that guy. Cannot thank him enough, and he always gets me kind of fucked up, so I appreciate that as well.
Yep. All right, so we're back to the Bucks and the Cowboys. Have you had time to think about where you're going to go with this?
Yeah. So I'm not changing. I'm off on the Cowboys. I thought that maybe Tom not being very good in week 1 would change my mind. It's not. I'm off on the Cowboys. They're not going to be able to protect. Zeke's their lead running back, even though he shouldn't be. Guy that I love, helped bring a national championship to Ohio State. Tony Pollard's the better back there now. I'm going to stick with my original plan. I'm going Bucks minus 2.5. I'm glad it's at 2.5. If it were at 3 even, I probably would have just gone Bucks money line, but I'm going to go Bucks minus the 2.5 because the odds of 110 as compared to, minus 145 sound a lot better to me.
And I will just be contrarian here. I don't want to bet this one. In real life, I'm not betting it because I feel like both teams are not in a phenomenal spot right now. Both Bucks not starting off great at the beginning of the year, and the Cowboys just kind of being in rough shape. But if I have to go one way, I'm just going to take the Cowboys plus the points because of the stats that I previously put out with Brady not starting off so hot and Cowboys being good underdogs. They're playing at home. So I'll go Cowboys plus the points here.
Cowboys plus the points. Gotcha.
All right. Now, do we want to talk about our games on Sunday or do we want to go into the Monday night game?
Let's do the Monday night game, and then we'll break down our games, and then we'll get into our predictions for the year.
All right, fair enough. Monday night, we have the Broncos and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle. The line is currently Denver minus 6.5, over under of 44. And I have no problem saying that Denver is going to stomp all over the Seahawks in this game. The Seahawks are a very bad team. They were going to be hotly contesting for that worst record in the NFL this year.
The 3 worst teams in football are going to be the Jets, the Bears, and the Seahawks.
Yes. And, Russ, I think, will we see him as good as he was in his heyday in Seattle? I'm not so sure, but he's going to be much improved. They have a better offensive line. They got a better running game. They got better receivers. They're just kind of better all around in that offense.
I was surprised to hear you say better receivers. I was going to say it, and I thought I was going to be very contrarian when I did. I like the Broncos receivers better than I like the Seahawks receivers.
Look, Jerry Jeudy is going to be good and solid, but Courtland
Sutton is a fucking stud, dude.
You got him in the draft this year, correct?
I did.
Yes.
I was very high on Courtland Sutton.
Congratulations, because the talks out of their camp and everything is that he's just going to be lights out this year. He's going to have himself a massive season. They got everything they need on offense there. That I'm not going to be able to pronounce the tight end's name, but he's someone. Aquabunum or something like that.
Oh yeah, the one for the Broncos. I think you're talking about Noah Fant. It's like
He's
Noah
going to be
Fant.
a top 10 tight end this year.
Ooh.
He's going to be a top 10 tight end this year. Recent release in our fantasy league.
Really?
I'm just saying.
I mean, I like my tight ends though. That's about the only thing I like on tight ends and my receivers. My quarterback and my fucking running back suck dick.
So look, Broncos easily win this game. I'm not going to even fuck around with giving points or anything. It's just going to be Broncos money line for me.
Broncos money line. All right. Yeah, this is a fucking cakewalk. This is the Broncos, and it's by a landslide. I'm going Broncos minus 6.5. 6.5 is not enough. The Seattle team is going to be one of the worst teams in fucking football. I don't understand the line like this. It's because it's week 1. If this is week 4, week 6, this is a 10-point plus line. No doubt in my mind, because Geno Smith's not the guy. The running backs are banged up for Seattle. Their receivers are pretty good. I like Tyler Lockett, and I just forgot that big motherfucker's name.
DK Metcalf.
Thank you. I like DK Metcalf. I like the Broncos receivers better. Jerry Jeudy is faster. He's bigger. He's not quite as good a route runner as Tyler Lockett, but I don't think that will matter based on the way Russ can throw the ball. And I think Cortland Sutton is a far better receiver than DK Metcalf. They're both big-bodied guys. Now, DK has all of this hype and appeal around him because he is, 6'5", 2% body fat, tried to run in the Olympics. The only thing that DK has on Cortland Sutton is maybe a 40 time. Cortland Sutton is a large man with fantastic hands, excellent ball skills, and 50-50 balls. And it's just, he is so sure-handed. Cortland Sutton has very few drops in his NFL career. Now, obviously, that has been shortened a little bit, especially with last year. But Cortland Sutton is a fucking dude. Cortland Sutton is, in my opinion, easily the number 1 receiver on that team, even though I know a lot of people are really, really high on Jerry Jeudy just because speed, fucking mesmerizes everybody. Cortland Sutton is a guy. Cortland Sutton is, to me, a young DeAndre Hopkins. He has got it. They are built the same. They have the same skill set. Like, I love Cortland Sutton. I am Broncos minus 6.5 because if this is not week 1, this is a 10-point spread, no doubt.
Yeah, I love the Broncos in this game. I hate the Seahawks this year. I'm going to struggle to pick any games for them. All right.
I mean, how many games does each quarterback start, you think? About 8, 9 apiece? Somewhere in that range? Because I think they're going to flip-flop a couple times.
Yeah. That's, I guess 8 apiece if you just want to split it down the middle. I don't think either of them are good. And
yeah, they're not
just
going
to keep trying their hand at something, but I don't know.
They're going to strike lightning one game. They're like, oh, we're going to fucking play the hot hand. And
Pete Carroll might just die.
If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't got one. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
It's rough.
It's an old football adage, but like, seriously, neither one of these guys are studs. I don't even know if either one of these guys are actual backups in the league. These guys are probably in the 60 range. If you talk about,
I think that they're
64?
mid-tier backups in the league. And I'd like to say that more about Drew Lock just because he's younger, but I don't feel good about either of them.
I think both of these guys are bottom 60 in the league in terms of starting quarterbacks. Like if you put all 64 1s and 2s, I would be very comfortable saying that they're both bottom 60. They're going to be so bad. They won't be as bad as the Bears because you have firmly put me on that because they are full on fucking tank mode to bring in number 1 draft pick in a brand new stadium next year. But yeah, they're going to be atrocious.
No. All right. Well, we could beat that up, but we know it's going to happen. Let's go to our Sunday earlier in the day game here between your Cleveland Browns and the Carolina Panthers, led by Baker Mayfield. That is the storyline of this game. All right.
Yes, that is the storyline of the game. And It's very interesting that is the storyline. The people in Cleveland will not let this die. We can't stop talking about Baker. He was a polarizing figure in all of Cleveland. You loved him or you hated him. I named my youngest daughter. Her middle name is Baker. She is Elizabeth Baker. I love the guy. He did a lot of good things. He did a lot of bad things, though. I don't understand some of the things that people are saying, especially on Twitter. After the reports came out that, Baker texted Miles saying, "Hey, thanks for our friendship. It was really great. I appreciate you. Love playing with you." And Miles left his ass on red. He even said it in a fucking press conference. Like, I left his ass on red.
Because I didn't know what to say. It didn't have anything to
I
say,
didn't
so I
know.
didn't say anything.
Exactly. Like, it's a very weird dynamic. Do I wish Baker success going forward? Yes. I think that he brought some sort of joy out of the Cleveland Browns that I have not felt probably in my entire lifetime. When the Browns were decent, I was a baby. I saw them in one playoff game where they went into a shell prevent defense and got, their dicks handed to them on a silver platter by the Steelers. But I was fucking like, I don't know, 10. So he brought me a joy that I have not experienced in my longtime fanhood of being a fan. So I wish him the best. I am not rooting against Baker, but he plays for the opposing team. The Browns are going to beat the fuck out of the Panthers this week. I think that you're probably going to disagree with me, but there's only two position groups that the Panthers are better at for the entire roster. That's a quarterback, because I do believe that Baker is a better quarterback than Jacoby. I mean, I can say that Deshaun Watson, even though I don't like the guy based on the things that have happened around him, Deshaun's a better quarterback than Baker. We made a good football decision when we upgraded from Baker to Deshaun. As long as Deshaun comes back and is the guy that he once was. Well, Baker is better than Jacoby. And their receiver group as a whole over there in Carolina is probably better than the Browns receiver group here. I like Amari Cooper. I think David Bell brings some interesting things to the table. DPJ needs to have a breakout season if he is going to stick around. And Anthony Schwartz has 10 bricks for fingers. I fucking cannot stand Anthony Schwartz. So I think the group over there is better. But everywhere else on the field, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, secondary, tight end, the Browns are better. This is not going to be like Baker's revenge game. And one of the reasons why it won't be is because the massive amount of pressure that is going to be put on Baker by that front four. They won't even need the blitz. You and I were both kind of ish on Ike Ekwonu during the draft process. We like him, but I said he projects way better as a guard prospect than starting at left tackle. I still think he projects way better at guard than a tackle. Week 1, welcome to the NFL moment. You get to go against Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney week 1, because they'll flip-flop them both sides. There is no way Ike is standing up to both of those guys. Baker is going to have a ton of pressure on him. He is going to have to check down to Christian McCaffrey, who is very dynamic as long as he is healthy. But one of the most improved position groups on this Browns team is at linebacker. We got some guys there. I really like Anthony Walker. And if I want a linebacker to go against a running back and stick with him, I think Joke, with his lateral quickness, is the perfect guy to match up against Christian McCaffrey. I got the Browns and and it's a pick 'em, so I don't even have to do a spread.
It is
But if I were,
even line right now with an over and under of 42.
and the line has moved a lot. The Browns started as favorites. They went to dogs, and now we're back to a fucking pick 'em. I have the Browns by 7. If the line were 6.5, I would still take the Browns in this game. There is no way that offensive line is going to hold up, and Baker struggles mightily against, pressure. He's good against the blitz because he can recognize it. Baker has some good football IQ. He can recognize a blitz and make the throw. But if you get pressure with your front four, which the Browns will be able to do, Baker struggles a lot. And I expect a ton of that from this Browns team.
So I don't disagree with any of your points. I really don't. The Browns are a better team, pretty much top to bottom. I'm still taking the Panthers in this one just because, like I said before, I almost want this to be Baker's revenge game. I know it's going to be very tough. I always liked his moxie and his cockiness. If he could keep it under control coming out of college, I feel like he's just the guy that has always really leaned into that chip on his shoulder. He's going to have that chip on his shoulder for this game. Hardcore. It could bury him. But again, all the reasons that you said, I completely agree with you. Even line. I'm just going to take the Panthers on this one. Just to be a little contrarian, and that can be the last little parting shot between the Browns and Baker, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I hope that as soon as this game is over, we stop talking about Baker. I wish the guy had nothing but success. He brought me a fucking playoff win in Heinz Field, not bullshit Acrisure, whatever the fuck it's called now, stadium, because they got new licensing there. The last time that there was a playoff game in Pittsburgh, the Browns won. I cannot thank Baker enough for that because I will always be able to hold that over the head of a fucking Pittsburgh fan.
No,
there's no shot.
For just a second, I have to step out.
Yeah. All right. So as we've been drinking quite a bit today, ladies and gentlemen, but I just want to say thank you guys all so much. We've had quite a bit of constant viewers. You guys rock. Thank you so much for the callers, the comments, and I just want to dive a little bit more into this fucking Browns Baker thing. So a lot of people that watch the show they're not Browns fans. You guys are fans of me and Evo. And if you are a Browns fan, get ready for a wild ride on Sunday. It is going to be chaos. You're going to see a lot of things. A lot of things are going to be said about this game, the way the game goes. Make no mistake, Baker did really good things. There will be people on, social media platforms, national broadcasts. They're like, oh yeah, Baker did great. There we go. There. But Browns fans stick with the Browns. I saw some wild statements on Twitter. I don't know if it was yesterday, 2 days ago. So when all this was reported between, Baker sent Miles a text, Miles left him on red. There were people who were like, you know what? I've never really been that big of a Miles fan. Okay, stop fucking talking. All right. Listen, you can be a Baker fan, but if you're trying to take sides between Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield, especially if we're talking about football and you're on Baker's side, you're a fucking moron. Myles Garrett is one of the best defensive players in all of football. I don't care that he tried to, decapitate Mason Rudolph with his own helmet. Myles Garrett's a stud. The fact that we're talking about a rift between those two guys who were very friendly is insane. If you're a Baker fan, go be a Baker fan. I was a Baker fan. I still will probably be a Baker fan when he's not playing the Browns. But don't fucking sit here and talk about, oh, I love the Browns, but I hope Baker kicks their ass. That doesn't make you a Browns fan. That makes you a fucking Baker fan. And if you are choosing Baker over Miles in this situation, you don't know shit about football, number one. And number two, fuck off. Because I can guarantee you, if I ask my man to the right, hey, Brett Favre took you to the playoffs. He was so good for that team when you guys should not have been good. You a Brett Favre fan because of what he did?
I said from the get-go that if we made it to the Super Bowl and won our first Super Bowl, I wanted an asterisk in the record book.
Yes. That is what a true fan is. Listen, I like Baker. Good with Baker. He's not a fucking Brown. Brett Favre wasn't a fucking Viking. Like, stop. Stop with all this bullshit. Browns, guys, we're Browns fans. I'm going to make Amber cut this. We're Browns fucking fans. I like Baker. I hope he does well. But week one, fuck Baker. I hope Miles takes his goddamn head off. I want to win by 40. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But yeah, sorry. I went on a little tirade about the Browns and all the shit I have been. I don't know. You're not a big Brown. You don't follow Browns Twitter, probably, Evo.
I try to stay off of Twitter if I can.
I love Twitter.
Because I feel like there's a lot of bullshit on there.
Oh, it's all bullshit. Especially if you start following Vikings Twitter. By the way, we should probably try to get a little bit more involved in Vikings Twitter. Get some of your boys over here enjoying the show. But Twitter's toxic as fuck, dude. Twitter's toxic as fuck. Like when people were saying, I don't really like, I've never been a big Miles fan. If you don't like Myles Garrett, you don't like fucking football. And you don't know shit about it. But all right, go ahead. Let's get into your boys this week.
Yeah, I had to slip into something a little bit more comfortable. So Dalvin Cook dropped the 33 this year. So old girl went out there and got me a Color Rush jersey with the 33 on it, except for it's sporting my name on the back.
There you go.
So first time putting it on and wearing it. Hopefully it brings us good luck this year. So the Vikings and the Packers, basically the biggest rivalry in the NFC North, starts off week one at US Bank Stadium. The line is currently Green Bay -1.5 with an over-under of 46.5. All right. So to start off, I'm going to pull up some of my notes here.
Okay.
In the prophetic words of the Yin Yang twins, hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear, tell you something that you might like to hear. The under is 6 of 2 for Minnesota versus Green Bay when they're playing in Minnesota. Minnesota's the under right now. Also, the Packers generally start their season slow. We saw them get their asses whooped by the Saints last year.
Yes, we did.
They averaged 19 points per game in the last 5 season openers. That was with arguably the best wide receiver
in football
on their team in Devontae Adams. And also, as some people like to incorrectly say, the best quarterback in football, Aaron Rodgers. That's a joke.
Was the best. It's now definitely Josh Allen.
The last time that we saw a big-time receiver leave the Packers was Jordy Nelson, and Aaron had himself a couple poopy years.
He did.
I mean, I'm a homer. Of course I have the Vikings taking this game at home. We have a new regime. We have a playbook that they aren't going to be ready for. We have the offensive weapons and Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook. Irv Smith is coming back. Cousins, say what you will about him. He's a stat monster. He has had the Packers number. He's 3-1 against them. Not a winning, but he actually has some ability to beat them. And their defense, everyone's been lauding their defense about how it's been looking so much better. They're going up against not so great receivers all the time. So of course they're going to look good. And beyond their first line, I mean, the Packers beat reporters are saying that their defensive backups are trash, and they rotate those backups in.
They are terrible.
Now, the Vikings defense was not good last year under Zimmer. They definitely weren't. But if you were to exclude the last 2 minutes of games, they actually had like the 10th ranked defense. They just weren't able to close it out. And now, obviously, 58 minutes versus 2 minutes, the whole game matters. But this defense is different. We have Ed Donatello as our new defensive coordinator. We brought in Zadarius Smith, who had words about getting to play the Packers this week.
Yep, we're very excited about it.
Yeah, because he did not like how his injury was handled there. He didn't like how he was handled. So he's got that chip on his shoulder ready to go after him. Meet at the quarterback is Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith, what they've been saying all the time, and they want to get after Rodgers. And Rodgers, I mean, Bakhtiari, we don't know if he's going to play.
Out. I'm pretty sure they have declared him out.
Lazard, their top receiver, who I believe he was their second leading receiver last year with a little over 500 yards.
I have some comments about who that top receiver is going to be, but
they're going to be going into the game with Sammy Watkins, who has not looked great in recent years. Romeo Dobbs is a rookie. People are a little bit high on him, but he has had a lot of drops this offseason. Now, obviously, Jamar Chase had a lot of drops, and then in the preseason, and then came out
balled out.
A phenomenal year, but not sold on him. Aaron Rodgers has called out those receivers regardless. And then you have Christian Watson, who normally would be the fourth receiver on their depth chart right now if Lazard was playing. And he has had 3 surgeries on the same knee, hasn't been playing too much. He's fully active for this game.
He is cleared. We talked about this earlier. He is cleared. He is 100% go.
The only thing that scares me about this team at all is their running game. I think they have a 2-headed monster, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep pace with the Vikings. The Vikings are it is going to be a loud stadium. It's going to be a loud stadium. And then you've got the Packers head coach coming out and saying he hates that skull chant. He hates that stupid horn.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
saw that press conference.
As far as I'm concerned, if there's Vikings fans behind his sideline, they need to be out there with the horns the whole goddamn time, tooting those annoying horns in his ear and letting him hear it. I'm not feeling it for the Packers. I've already called it in previous episodes that the Vikings are winning the North. I've been willing to say I think the Packers will probably make the playoffs, but I think the Vikings are winning the North. And a lot of people are getting behind them on it. Media pundits and stuff now. Going as far as saying Kirk Cousins might get MVP looks.
I could see him getting votes. I don't think he'll win it, but I can see him getting votes.
And I'm not willing to go that far either, just because he's not that flashy name. But KOC is bringing something to this team that we've needed for a long time, and that is a good offensive play scheme to scheme open all of these stars that we have on offense. And our defense wasn't the best last year, but it has been improved. The younger guys that we got have gotten better. All reports out at camp and everything is looking good. So I have us winning this game. I have us covering. And I'm super excited about it.
What line are you looking at? Because what I'm seeing, we got to pick them right now between your boys.
ESPN, and I'll update the page, but it has Green Bay -1.5 right now on ESPN. It is switched to even.
Yeah, I thought I switched to even. Yeah.
Well, I already put a not insignificant amount of money on the game when I believe it was like -2.5.
I'm just gonna give you Vikings.
So I am all in on this game. I mean, I had a very bullish look at how our season would go.
Oh yes,
last week. So
win.
Yep, it's a fucking win. This game is a fucking win, and I think I'm even willing to start some little side bets here about over under Aaron Rodgers yells at his wide receiver core 2.5 times because he's already called them out, and I'm going on the over on that. Because he's not going to be happy going across state lines over to Minnesota and getting his shit kicked in.
Okay.
It's the Vikings for me, baby.
All right.
Sound the horns.
All right. I'm gonna be a little contrarian here. Okay. The Packers lost a lot of talent. I think Zadarius Smith going over to the Vikings is going to be a big deal. However, that Packers defense is they're actually going to be really, really improved. They're getting their corners back. Really good safety tandem. The front four is not bad. You guys have a decent O-line, but there are some holes that I know that you're concerned about on that offensive line. The running game for you guys, I'm very interested to see what kind of scheme you're actually running. Dalvin Cook's entire career, he's run behind an offensive line that has blocked a zone scheme, but that scheme has a big potential to change because you brought over KOC, and the Rams don't run a zone scheme. They run a gap man-to-man scheme. So how will Dalvin be able to pick and choose his way through a whole new scheme that he has not run basically his entire career? Because he ran a zone scheme down at Florida State, right?
Yes, they ran the past couple years an outside zone scheme, and KOC is running an inside zone with outside zone options. So,
so it's more of a gap scheme. That's a little bit more of a gap scheme. You won't see as much man to man, but it's going to be interesting to see how Dalvin acclimates to that new zone type blocking, because we know Dalvin to have excellent vision. That's why the outside zone was so good for him. And it'll be an interesting thing to see. And one of the things that the Packers defense does fairly well, they don't get pressure, but their linebackers run sideline to sideline pretty well.
The one area that I am concerned about the Packers defense is Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is arguably the best nose tackle in the league, and he's going up against one of the worst centers in the league in Garrett Bradbury.
And you're talking an inside zone, and you're talking inside zone scheme. So now we're taking maybe more of a 30-degree step against a 45-degree step. We're not passing off. We're not. It's going to be a little different. I'm interested to see the way Dalvin adjusts.
I feel like Kevin O'Connell will scheme correctly because he knows just as well as everyone else Garrett Bradbury's the weak link.
Yeah,
he knows that Kenny Clark is the best player on that defensive line.
Yes,
he's going to get double teamed a bunch, and we will move the ball away from him. I believe that KOC is able and willing to scheme appropriately based on the people that they're playing, that he's not going to be locked into his system. This is his first year. He gets to create what he wants. He worked up under McVay for sure, but he's been under a lot of different systems. So he's got a lot that he can add into that playbook with Wes Phillips. So I'm not super yes, Kenny Clark is scary, but I think that, and he'll get his, but I think that we'll find ways to work around Kenny Clark and the issues that he could cause. At the end of the day, if we start opening up that pass game, which this offense is going to be a lot more pass heavy than it has been in previous years, we got the receivers for it.
Oh, for sure. Now, on the back end of that Packers defense, they look really fucking good right now. They're getting guys back. They're gonna be much improved over the previous years. My question about this game is really going to come down to the depleted Green Bay Packers receiver core versus a really not very good secondary in your Vikings. So Aaron Rodgers has this magical way. You know how Jesus turned water into wine? Aaron Rodgers turned shit into sugar when it comes to wide receivers. I think that there is the potential that they will have a better day than you are thinking. Now, when I started this whole thing, I told you I was going to be a little contrarian. You are hard on your Vikings. You think you're going to beat their ass. I got the Vikings, but I got it in a close fucking game. You're not going to beat their ass. That defense is better than I think that you think they are. I think that the inside zone scheme as compared to an outside zone scheme does not necessarily fit Dalvin's strengths, because when you stretch that defensive line, his vision is probably top 3 in the league when it comes to finding rushing lane, and things are going to be a little bit more congested. He's not great at breaking tackles. He's not bad. by any means, but he is not a natural, like, big-bodied tackle breaker. He finds lanes that nobody's in because his vision is so good. I am on your Vikings. I am not picking against them, especially in this pick'em. Like I said, I'm a little contrarian. I don't have your boys beating their ass, but I actually do have you winning because it's going to take some time for this Packers offense to come together.
And to be completely honest, I'm all about the naysaying, not necessarily from you, but from anyone around the league with my Vikings, because I like
tell
being
me,
the dogs.
Tell me if anything that I said, how many of those things that I just said do you disagree with, though? I mean,
I don't.
Those are very real things.
I don't think the scheme issue is going to be an issue with Dalvin. I think that he'll be perfectly fine. I've got him for 100 yards total and a touchdown on the day, I believe. I think Kirk Cousins will throw 3 touchdowns as well, and probably be 290 to 300 something yards. 1 to Jefferson, 2 to Thielen. I know most people are going to think Jefferson, but Jefferson will have more receiving yards. And then our back end of the defense has been the issue, the cornerbacks, but I don't know that we're going to give Rodgers enough time to really pick things apart. I think that the pass rush is going to disrupt things enough. We broke his collarbone in U.S. Bank Stadium before. I'm not going to be surprised if it happens again. He's going to be wanting to drop acid with his witch girlfriend and after the game, because he's going to be in a lot of pain. We're going to see another one of those clips where he's talking about being on Percocet because he's all goofy after the game because he's going to get fucked
Percocet.
up.
Molly Percocet.
We've seen Cameron Dancer
seen the
looking
future.
better.
We've seen the future. By the way, that's who sings that song, if you don't know. For all you olds out there watching.
Future. The Patrick Peterson has been solid. He has not been an issue on the team. He's not been Patrick Peterson of old, but he's been solid. Cam Dantzler has improved each year. His PFF grades actually last year were way better than I thought they would have been.
Top 30, I thought, right?
Yeah. And he's only looked better this offseason. Last year he put on weight, but it wasn't good weight apparently. So it made him a little bit more sluggish. He's gotten back to his old form. And then
listen, I'm not trying to flip you. I'm not going to be able to flip you anyways. I'm just saying it's going to be it's going to be closer. It's going to be closer than you think.
I'm fine with that take. We shall see.
Well, hey, you know what? When you went Panthers, I wanted it to absolutely bury you because I know you know football and you know that the Browns are a far superior team.
Like
you're just hoping. You're hoping that Baker gets a fucking little revenge game.
I just want him to have that little revenge game, and then I don't really care what happens to him the rest of the season.
Yeah,
but that's about it. All right, man. Well, we just went through the entire weekend of football. We were going to go over our bold predictions for the year.
I know we're at 2.5 hours. Can we do them quickly?
I can get through it quick.
Okay, I can do them quickly as well. So I'm going to pee, though, because I've already kind of heard your bold predictions. We talked about it earlier.
All right. So for everyone watching, if you want to make your own bold predictions, you can throw them in the comments for us, and we'll kind of keep track of that. However, these are supposed to be quantifiable things, so you can't just be like, Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback in the league. It has to be something that's actually more quantifiable. So for me, I have that 3 quarterbacks this year in the NFL will reach 5,000 passing yards. Now, a little history on this. Only 14 quarterbacks ever in the league have passed for more than 5,000 passing yards. And there's only been one other time in history that 3 quarterbacks in a season have passed for 5,000 yards or more. That was in 2011, and it was Breeze, Brady, and Matt Stafford. All right. My second bold prediction is that 2 receivers in the league this year will eclipse 1,800 receiving yards. So 1,800 or more receiving yards. This has happened one time in the past. It was 2015, and that was Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. My third prediction is that the LA Rams will not make the playoffs this year. I had this prediction, and I was not feeling as good about it before the game on Thursday, but I feel even better about it now, so I'm going with it. And then just a little razzle dazzle at the end, a fourth one if you want. The Bears will be the worst team record wise in football this year, followed by the Seahawks.
All right,
so Mike, what do you got?
Recap me real quick. I want to make sure because we talked about it in the text.
Yep. It is 3 quarterbacks this season will pass for more than 5,000 yards. 2 receivers will eclipse 1,800 yards and receiving. And the Rams will not make the playoffs this year. The defending Super Bowl champs will not even make it to the playoffs in a weak NFC.
Those are your bold predictions, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So my bold predictions. Shit. Things thrown at me. I gotta hurry up. I got 4 rookie receivers going over 1,000 yards. The most to ever the most happened in 1 year was 3, 2014. And one of those guys was Kelvin Benjamin. So I think this year we get 4. I'm gonna give you the names. I know Evo doesn't necessarily agree with the names. I'm going Sky Moore for sure. Chris Olave, I think Jameis throws for a ton of yards. Pickens, even though I'm not big on Pickens, I think he will get a lot of targets in that Steelers offense. And then Christian Watkins, the guy that Evo is not big high on. He's had knee injuries.
Watson.
I'm sorry.
It's easy to get him Watkins. It's because they got Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson. It's
Christian
tough.
Watson goes over
Miami.
1,000 yards. Christian Watson goes over 1,000 yards. Just based on volume. Aaron Rodgers turns shit into sugar. Happens all the time. Evo put out some really good fucking numbers about what can and can't happen, what has happened when he's lost his number 1. But I got 4 rookie receivers over 1,000 yards, making it the most of all time. And in a receiver class that probably wasn't talked about as much as some of the last ones, especially when we had a Jamar Chase and a Justin Jefferson in those classes. So I think this is the year that we get the most guys over 1,000 yards. This one I really like. I know that we're big Dan Campbell guys. I got the Lions going 10-7 and making the playoffs. That's going to be that's a tough one. That's a bold prediction. I know Evan Fox from the Pat McAfee show is going to love hearing other people saying they're going to go 10-7 and make the playoffs. They won't win a playoff game, but they will make the playoffs. But I have one on top of that with the Lions. Jared Goff is going to have more yards and touchdowns than Stafford this year.
I like that one. Because after what we saw on Thursday, that's very plausible.
Stafford's arm hurts. He's got problems. Maybe it's not so bold anymore after we've seen Stafford play. But I think Goff outperformed Stafford this year. And Lions fans are going to be very, very happy with the fact that, you know what, we lost Stafford. He won a Super Bowl. Good for him. He was great for our organization. But we got a guy that maybe we can do some things around because they got some really good receivers. I'm excited for Jameson Williams. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is a fucking stud.
Absolutely.
And I got one more. Neither one of us are high on the Dolphins at all. I said that Sky Moore was going to be one of the guys that goes over 1,000 yards this year. Sky Moore, rookie, drafted by the Chiefs. You know who doesn't go over 1,000 yards this year? Tyreek Hill. Tua's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able to feed him the ball enough. I got Tyreek under 1,000 yards receiving this year. Don't care about his touchdowns. He may get quite a few touchdowns to help his fantasy value. But I think he goes under 1,000 yards because he's not going to get enough targets. He's not. It's not going to work.
Jalen Waddle will get 1,000.
So many things. I think Jalen Waddle can. I think Jalen Waddle actually has a little more shift than Tyreek. Tyreek's a lot more.
Jalen Waddle's a better fit for that offense in general.
I agree.
Last year, I'm pretty sure he went over 1,000 last year.
Yeah, he did. He was one of the rookies that went over 1,000 yards last year. So, we got one more thing that we got to do before we get the fuck out of here. I know we're pressing 3 hours, but all right, we're going to go offensive rookie, defensive rookie, MVP, defensive player of the year, and our Super Bowl teams and winners. We have to give these out before week 1 happens. Otherwise, people are going to say that we're being homers and we're using what we saw in week 1 to make our picks. So, Evo, offensive rookie, defensive player of the year, MVP, your Super Bowl teams, and who fucking wins it.
All right. Offensive rookie of the year is going to be George Pickens, wide receiver for the Steelers. Defensive rookie of the year, Sauce Gardner. He's looked great in the preseason for the Jets at cornerback. MVP, Josh Allen. I think he's just, he's going to be amazing this year. Defensive player of the year. I'm a little bit tougher on this one. I'm just going to go with an easier Micah Parsons. When we say Micah Parsons. And then Super Bowl teams. So obviously I've got
Bills.
The Bills.
Bills.
I'm not sure on the NFC, really. Not too sure. I honestly
give it to me.
Well, the Bills are going to win it all. The easy pick from a lot of people is that the Rams are going to go, but I've already said that
that don't look good no more.
They're not even going to make the playoffs, right? Really pressing my dick between 2 pages of a book here. I will say Buccaneers make it back and lose.
All right. So we're going to agree on some of these, disagree on some. So offensive rookie of the year, I'm going Sky Moore. You guys have been hearing me say this for fucking probably months now. Been huge on Sky Moore. He's going to get a ton of volume in that Kansas City offense. Going over 1,000 yards. Going to have a big year. Defensive rookie of the year, I'm going Aiden Hutchinson. If that Lions team is going to be as good as I think they are, they're going to need Aiden Hutchinson to have a big, big fucking year. And I think he can do it. I think he is probably the best pure pass rusher of the group. Pass rushers get a ton of love when we're talking about awards. Defensive player of the year. This is me being a homer. It's Myles Garrett. He could have won it last year. He did not. I think he does it this year. He's going to have a monster game week 1. Sets the tone for the rest of the year. So I got Myles Garrett, defensive player of the year. MVP. We all know where we're going. If you're not picking this guy, you're insane. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the MVP. Super Bowl teams. I mean, my MVP's in the Super Bowl. I got the Bills. And I thought about changing to the Rams until I saw the Rams play the Bills. I'm not changing. The thing that I talked about a couple weeks ago, I'm going Rams Bucks. I think Tom will get back there.
Rams and the Bucks?
Buccaneers?
You Bills and the Bucks.
I'm sorry, but yeah. Whew. Bills and the Bucks.
First time
Bills
ever 2 NFC teams make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Bills and the Bucks. I think Tom will get back there. There's a reason he came back. That team is beat up right now, but I don't know if I trust any team from the NFC other than the Bucks right now. Maybe the Eagles could surprise me, but Bills and Bucks in the Super Bowl, and it's the Bills. For me, in a landslide to win the Super Bowl. And it's crazy to say in a landslide. We have been talking about the Bills for fucking months about how good they are, and they came out on Thursday night and proved exactly how fucking good they are. So, yeah, I'm very excited for Sven. Big fan of the show. Thank you, Sven, for all the support. Yeah, Bills winning the Super Bowl, and I'm going to be happy for them too. They may be the best team on Lake Erie. And maybe they know how to read, but reading's for rich people. If you guys are on the Facebook page, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. All right, man. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we got to get the fuck out of here. I got a little dinner thing, barbecue to go to. CJ, we'll see you in a little bit. I'm gonna change out of this monstrosity of a shirt, but guys, thank you so much. The Lineman Lounge is fucking back. Full force. The NFL is our wheelhouse. We could talk about this shit for days, or if you have been paying attention, about 3 fucking hours. Thank you guys. We love you. Go check out the Facebook page. Check us out on Twitter at Lineman Lounge, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit. And you can also listen to us on anywhere podcasts are found. I love you. I thank you. I'm going to go drink and play board games. See ya.
All right.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6